What is that?
Cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London. Saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
Welcome to the playoffs of the Amazon University Esports UK and Ireland Women and Non-Binary Valorant 2023. I am Waxon and I have the pleasure of being joined today by Raptros to bring you all of the best of three action between the Plymouth Quackers and We Miss Her. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an absolute pleasure for me to be here, getting back into the Valorant side of things, at least in terms of my casting as well. No, and what better place to do it than this championship? Getting into the playoff stages already, where there's so much to play for. I really can't wait to get this one started.
And it's not just how much we have to play for, but the teams we will be following today, they've already had to face some tough opponents in order to make it this far in the tournament. So if we could take a quick look at the bracket and the journey of the two teams so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we've already had those initial stages get themselves over and done with already. We already actually had initially a couple of best of ones to start ourselves off. But from this point forward, it's going to be best of threes pretty much all the way until we get to that grand final, which is a very, very exciting prospect indeed. And one of the big surprises coming into this one, Waxon, is that Plymouth Quackers had themselves a little bit of an upset. They beat the previous season champions of Ashente 2-0. We didn't exactly see what maps those were played on or what the scores were, but 2-0 is nothing to be sniffed at.
Exactly. You know, the previous champions, a team that has had a lot of experience and has shown how good they can be on the big stage, taken out in the upper bracket. We got to keep this in mind, Raptors. This is a double elimination bracket. So despite that, how many people might consider that an upset, we might still see Ashente come back into it later on in the season. But looking at today's match, this is the upper bracket semifinal. So a win here pretty much guarantees you will be in the top three.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a much more comfortable position to be in than to get a poor start in the bracket and have to go through that entire process of going through the lower bracket, which is very, very stressful indeed. You're playing a lot of games, a lot of maps against different teams. Each one could take you out of the championship. You want to get that safe ticket in through the upper bracket and also get the better seeding from doing that as well. So yes, there is a second chance, so to speak, in this bracket, but it's really one that you don't want to be taking.
Yeah, of course not. And on the other side of the Plymouth Quackers, We Miss Her that have also successfully defeated their quarterfinal opponents in a 2-0. Well, we don't know the score, so we can just assume it was a dominating fashion because it did not go to that map 3. So both of these teams with so much momentum backing them. And how important would you say momentum is in a tournament such as this one?
Incredible amount. It cannot be overstated how important it is, because that confidence just allows you to bring the best performances as possible. When people start popping off, when people start to really get comfortable with their play, that's where they are scariest. And I personally, if I'm a team going up against another one that's on momentum, that is probably the scariest prospect ever, because I know they're coming off a high. They're going to be playing their hearts out, and we're going to be on the back foot. So yeah, it's just so important in a championship such as this to get those comfortable results heading towards that grand final best of 5 that everyone hopes to be.
And speaking of how important it is to win, obviously winning 2-0 or 2-1 in this match here doesn't matter. As long as you make it past this hurdle, you are one step closer to the grand finals, as you said. So let's already get into the map veto, because the teams have gone through it, and we know that the first map of the series, we will be going to Haven.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely one of those old school maps, of course. And that will be We Miss Her pick, of course. They've gotten themselves the as the top team coming into this one. They will get themselves the preferential treatment in terms of the map vetoes here. Plymouth will be starting on the defense with regards to that one. Then we head on to Fracture as our map number 2, and then if required, we head on to the ever contentious issue of going on to Split.
Yeah, Split. For those of home, you might see Pearl on your screens right now, but it's just a misunderstanding. I think we were expecting Pearl, but they will be going on to Split. That is if we will be looking at a 1-1 scoreline after the first 2 maps. And I'm gonna put you on the spot, Raptors, and I'm gonna ask you: do you think we are going to the map 3 in this series?
Yeah, well, it's a hard one because despite the upset that Plymouth were able to pull off earlier on in the bracket, I think they're still coming into this one as a bit of an underdog. However, they do have something going for them, and it is in that we miss to clarify, these are the Trinity Dublin players. They are playing with a couple of subs, so that's going to really not give them as much of an advantage as you would originally think coming into this best of 3, and that's really something that Plymouth can really leverage in a situation such as this as they continue to try and hard charge through this upper bracket.
Sometimes you prepare for a team, you prepare for the 5 players, and they come in with a few subs, and you're getting taken by surprise. So it's a double-edged sword. But as you said, I would agree that the team with the full roster should be the favorite going into this map. But let's look a bit about at Haven, and let's talk about the current meta on Haven, and let's talk about the agents that we might expect seeing from either of these 2 sides.
Yeah, absolutely, and well, of course, with Haven, just the nature of the map with those fast rotations, you really want to get yourselves agents out there that can really cut those off and cause a bit of a problem. Lots of smokes being deployed, of course, so the control is going to be super important here in this one. We might even see those be leaned on much more heavily coming into this one, but I'm not sure what your opinion is on this particular map, Waxon, but it is actually one of my favorites to play. I do love just sort of getting stuck into those sort of triple site situations and really playing the mind games in terms of sending the fakes through.
I would have to agree. I think Haven has been, and it still is, obviously one of the best maps in the pool. And what makes it so interesting, I love when we go to Haven to open up a series, is because unlike some of the other maps that have maybe shifted away from duelists, and we're seeing this duelist less comps on Haven, we still see pro teams going for a double duelist composition with a Phoenix, a Raze, a Jet. Everything is viable. I would love to see a Neon maybe going down that C long, combining with a Breach. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the 2 teams have in store for us today. Do I expect the team with the subs to maybe utilize the Breach as well as I would want them to? Maybe not, due to the nature of the situation. But if the opponents have a strong Breach player or even a KO to shut down the attacking rounds, I think we could see quite a swift victory here.
I'd be very interested to see if we actually have a split in philosophies in this one between the 2 teams as well. Maybe one team going for that double duelist setup and one going for like a more conservative defensive setup. So that will be interesting coming into the game, because then we might get a story of 2 halves, so to speak. So that's going to be the very interesting thing coming into this first map of Haven, and well, of course, the nerves about being on broadcast and being in the upper bracket, of course.
Yeah, and as you said, we are seeing teams being sometimes more aggressive or maybe more conservative when it comes to Haven. And I'm really wondering, are we going to see either team go for the multiple initiator comp, or maybe even the multiple controller composition, which is something we don't see as often on Haven, but the few time when it has been used by other teams, it has been and proved to be very successful, running a combination of Brimstone Astra that enables some outstanding post-plan scenarios when you get the spike down on the attack side. That's something that I can't wait to see. And of course, Cypher, with the relatively recent updates to him, the trips are longer. You can cover different areas. It's way harder to clear certain corners. Cypher is probably what I would expect to see from at least one of these 2 teams, as maybe the other might go for the Killjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's so many different philosophies you can take to this map, which is why it's I see it as definitely pretty flexible with regards to what cop you bring. So I'm hoping that we get something relatively interesting. We don't get a mirror matchup or anything like that. So because variety is indeed the spice of life here. But yeah, I'm super excited to see how this one goes. Of course, it will set the stage for this best of three because given the situation that we're in at the moment, with this being a we miss a pick for the team from Dublin, they really want to be out of the blocks pretty much immediately, especially on that attacking side. So they might end up going out and trying to grab this game by the horns immediately, especially if they feel they have some form of advantage due to prior form.
Well, we don't have to waste any more time as Agent Select is now underway. The first match of this best of three between the Plymouth Quackers and We Miss Her is now underway.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get to see our first signs of what the teams are bringing to the table, and an immediate lock-in there on the Phoenix for Aaron there, which is what we absolutely love to see, of course. No other immediate lock-ins here. Teams just trying to discuss amongst themselves. Maybe they do have something prepared for this particular map, or maybe they're trying to judge things based off of what they see out there in Agent Select, which is very interesting. But yeah, Aaron immediately going straight in. There's no doubt in our minds about picking that Phoenix.
And we see Mita hovering that fade. And I want to ask you, what do you think of the fade on Haven? Obviously, it can be a great combining it with Raze, which we see Biska hovering right now. But I personally, I prefer more of a KO Sova type initiator on this map.
Yeah, absolutely. It would definitely be a very, very interesting choice. It continuing to be hovered at this stage. The combo potential, of course, like you mentioned, definitely very prevalent as we get the Sage locked in there. So that's another one that's kind of. I'm not sure what you really maybe think of that decision there.
I think Sage has fallen out of favor on Haven over the last few months, but I would see the role Sage would play if you were starting on the defender side. Now that they're starting on the attackers, I'll be completely honest with you. I don't really see this Sage, but the advantage you have by running a Sage Phoenix, at certain rounds, you might even have 7 players versus 5.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got everyone locked in then. Double duelist comps from both sides here. Both sides actually picking out the Omen as well, which I like to see, given I like to play a lot of Omen in my pugs as well. So great to see that agents come to the forefront here. The Killjoy choice, though, on the initial defending side by Plymouth there as well. So a lot to talk about coming into this one. I can't wait to get this side.
No Cypher on either side, and I gotta say, other than Sage, no actual Sentinel on the attacker side. Very interesting choice. That might enable Ghost and Jay to go for multiple flanks, especially in the early rounds of the first half.
Absolutely. So getting ourselves in towards the first round here, of course. It's going to be the Trinity Dublin players starting on the attacking side. Remember, Plymouth on the defense here initially as we get ourselves set to head into our first pestle round, not only of this entire map, but of this best of 3 as well.
Placing sentry. Placing swarm
Yeah, we're
grenade.
seeing the Killjoy already run, setting up
Placing
in the
swarm
C
grenade.
bomb side, but we see 5 attackers lining up to just go full straight on to a C hit, and let's see if Run can stop this first aggressive
Placing
play
swarm grenade.
from the pistol round.
Immediately out of the blocks, they will creep up towards that C long side, though. Run just crouching up behind the box, and will be the early warning signal here for the rest of the team to potentially try and rotate if there is a big commitment here
Swarm grenade out.
on the side.
Swarm grenade out.
Utility going in already. No peeks coming out whatsoever from the defensive side there. A lot of utility used, especially for a pistol round, and here comes the push once push up immediately, and lots of information gained by the Phoenix.
Yeah, lots of utility baited out as
Bot
well. The
coming
turret
back.
is out, and now look, a nice split in the A side. 3 long, 1 short. No, 4 long, 1 short. Molly backside from Aaron. Gonna get spotted by a Prowler. Now flashing in, but the Jet is in, and Ghost gets the first blood of the series. Biska managing to trade with that. pistol, but no, trades back and forth.
Spike
It's down to
down
2
A.
versus 2 Capybara. Can they make anything happen? But no, Biska says this is my yard. 2 versus 2. But look at the flank from Jay. Jay is on their tail. Gonna swing right now. Spots one. Can they get the kill? Jay gets one. Spike is down, and it will be the end. And their first round on the board for the defenders.
Yeah, you can't really afford to be having that happening. The quick flank coming out there for Plymouth really sinks the knife into the back of the Dublin players there as they were trying to set up in a post-plan position, but the fact that that long flank would have come in just did not enter their minds whatsoever. And the players both spotted out, information given over, and the likely result of that round was always going to be a defender win from that point forward. So a very, very good start here from Plymouth. Let's see if they can capitalize here on this defensive side, as it's pistols once again for Dublin as they try to creep towards the door.
Slowly making their way, and Capybara is about to spot a couple opponents. Nice retreat. Smoke off the double doors and will push the attackers back. Now, I like... I was about to say, I like them stacking together as 5 when they have an eco, but Jay says, I don't care, I've got it close, and I'm taking your heads off.
Farming up a little bit of that kind of 5v4 situation already in the early stages of this round as Dublin try to readjust, try and regroup, and well, here comes the push up from Ghost, spots out a couple of players, and she's just gonna drop back away towards the A side. Not gonna be a greedy up against those pistols. You don't want to be giving a free kill away at an SMG on the ground.
Flash!
About to see Ghost get one. Capybara with the second. The nade comes a bit too late in the backside, and now it's a 2 versus 4 clash in hand. Capybara can get the second, but Nita, trade one, finally get taken out. Only 1 Spectre lost in the process, and now we're looking at 2-0 and a great bonus round upcoming for the defenders.
Yeah, absolutely clean rounds there from the side of Plymouth as they'll be able to get themselves all set with the fantastic starts here on this first map of Haven. Remember, this is not their map pick either. This was picked by the side of the Trinity Dublin players. So that's, again, not ideal for them. However, they've got themselves the rifles out here. Let's see if they can get one back. 2-1 scoreline, especially, likely considering the SMG still on the side of Plymouth here as they take this as a bonus.
Gotta tell you, Raptors, I love Capybara right now. Bucky in hand, and I'm a Bucky judge main. I can't wait to see if anyone will approach that short area, but it doesn't seem to be the case as we have a default from the attackers early on in this round.
Not taking the initiative here just yet, and the wolf bag has come through onto run as she'll take one on the head, but thankfully not all that HP reduced as Rock One pushes up with the rest of that team here. Pushing in is Erin. Well, secured a little bit of a foothold on this side. The Peaks are trying to come through the defenders, but they're all being cut down here for the moment. This might be the first round on the board here as Capybara tries to get a couple of sight onto the pads.
Bucky in hand, unfortunate rotate from Capybara on the flank. Can't do too much damage with the shotgun long distance. We see Ghost now about to get in the crossfire. No! Biska gets taken out, and Ghost gets the second, almost gets away with their life. But now it's only Capybara. Gonna try to keep down, Nita in a good position. But Ghost should not have gotten any kills there, I don't think.
Really got away with one there. Just allowed the space to peek and cut down a couple of players. Of course, this all doesn't necessarily matter in terms of the round win, but matters in terms of the economy. It's more more utility, more guns that the opposite side has to buy and things. So I tend to overcomplicate things here, Waxon, as I try to find flowery language, but setting up for this first real gun round now.
5 versus 5 rifles, no one opting to go for that operator quite yet, and the attackers yet again huddling up as 5 going towards the C, and it is the great choice as Capybara is alone backside C. Can they make anything happen? Nice Judo peek and a TP back to elevator. That's not a great position as they have no more TP right now. Rock walking in, clearing corners, but Capybara with a great angle. No one is checking. They don't want to check. The Capybara gonna get 1. Flash gets 2. Yes, they can. Capybara with a first. No. Are they gonna get more? No. Timing trades, but run. Oh, smoke with 1. Biska traded, and it's only
Spike planted.
Omen
One
getting
enemy
away
remaining.
with a couple of kills here as the defenders try to get this retake going, and just as quickly as it started, it ends. And another round on the board here for Plymouth after a well-worked hold there by Capybara towards the very back of the site. You
My
can't
ult's ready.
afford to not be checking that, I'm afraid,
Was that
especially at this
important?
level of
Here.
competition.
Yeah, and what was a rather questionable play, TPing solo in the elevator with no more teleports left and essentially isolating yourself, turns out to be a genius play from Capybara on the Omen, who is already in possession of the ultimate, and so is Ghost with the Blade Storm, but I don't think we'll see it used just now as Ghost is in a position of a Vandal.
Absolutely, very passive play here at the moment from the Jets. So, not expecting that to come out absolutely immediately, as it's another group up as 5 and a big old death ball here for the attackers as they look towards this C side of the map.
Come on,
again,
let's go!
Yeoman rotating in towards double ball. Here comes the ult to run it back. Here for the Phoenix showstopper out as well from Visca as she jumps towards the very, very back of the site, looking to try and get a free onto.
Yes!
Showstopper hits and cuts down Run Killjoy out of the round.
Great work from our observer right there, following the rocket from Biska, getting the first blood, but traded instantly by Capybara from a garage window. And now it's down to a 4 versus 4 retake. We see the Prowlers coming in, clearing some of the default corners. Tata behind the stage wall, but Ghost gets the kill backside onto Mita. Tata gets one, can then get the headshot. No! Jay alive with 46 HP. Now gonna use the Phoenix wall, smokes in play, and Aaron will have to flatten himself out. Aaron spamming the smoke, Molly in play, Rock is 1 HP, healing himself, but the spike has been defused, and it's the 4th on the board. You gotta stay alive, don't want to lose any more rifles now.
Attackers completely isolated there in the post plants. Nothing they could do except for hope and pray they get the spray line up in the exact right place, but unfortunately it wasn't to be, and it's another round on the board here for Plymouth. They have their wind in their sails here at the moment, which is a very, very scary prospect when, again, you consider this is not their map pick here of Havens, and you can't be giving them these advantages this early on as they start to play with much, much more confidence there on that defensive side. Rifles are out again, 1 SMG in play as well for Dublin Trinity, and a little bit of a slower play, slower default this time around instead of grouping up as 5.
The previous round was very costly as well, as they had invested 2 of their biggest ultimates in the run it back in the showstopper without managing to convert around, but they still have plenty of credits to buy into this one. Only a Bulldog and a Spectre, and we're seeing a nice contact play onto B. That's Jay spots one and throws the Molly in their face to slow them down. Meanwhile, Rock on the flank short alongside Fade. Meanwhile, I think this is a double fake we're witnessing right now. Nice swing. Rock gets the kill onto Fade, and the A bomb site is clear. Biska has 3 opponents in front of him and gets the first kill. Eric traded, and now Run finally taking the opponent out. But look at the spike making its way down short.
Yeah, Biska's causing a
One
big
enemy
question
remaining.
mark in the minds of Plymouth there, but But
Spike
Trinity Dublin
planted.
finally found that plant on towards the A site. It was the Omen Altata holding that in her hands and making the late decisions go through, as both of those site pushes happened pretty much simultaneously, but running the 1 versus 3 situation here now.
This should probably be a save, but hey, even 1 more kill would deal lots of economical damage, and that's why Run is trying to bait Rock to swing here. Rock is going to do it and lose their life in the process. Run down to 9 HP. Now, if they can get even 1 more kill, the economy of the attackers will be completely crumbled. Mita spots the opponent, know their position. Is Mita going to jump and swing? No, but Mita might just bite to the spike here. Is Run going to hold the angle? Mita running away with knife in hand. No! Such great work from Run, getting 4 essentially kills in that round. Rifles out of the hands of the attackers, and despite finally getting a gun round on the board, the economy is in shambles.
Yeah, but the cheeky end of the round kill and the presence of mind to sort of stick around in the site as long as she could to try and bait a player to remain in there and get the effective kill with the spike explosion as well. That's really done a number on the economy, which is the last thing they need at this stage. Rifles still out there in this particular round, multiple ultimates on both sides as well, ready to be deployed if required. So potentially another big round on the cards here.
Another default. I love seeing this from the attackers. It has to be noted, the 2 rounds they've won is when they played this default into a fake, not when they were huddling up on as 5. But now, Capybara gonna throw a one-way smoke up in Garage, which is probably going to slow down this Sage attempt of taking control of Garage. Spotted and crossing, and I think the attackers did not see the Omen. I mean, you're still aware of the position. The smoke just came through, but... Run! Okay, just trying to cross from elevator back to backside without a smoke, gets caught off guard, and now it's a 5 versus 4, 6 versus 4 essentially, as we have the res in play for the Sage.
Have Trinity Dublin found a little bit of a gap in the defenses though, because Plymouth seems to have left that A site completely clear. Potentially tempted about just taking the retake attempt here instead of trying to hold this one off immediately, but Luna has different
30
ideas.
seconds left.
Nice.
At the moment though, the
Spike
Prowler
planted.
and spam the same goal. Luna gets the first kill. Aaron trades it. Jay still in position of the running back. They're just waiting to clear some corners. Jay, very patient, looking in graffiti, gonna throw in the running back, spot 1 and 3, gonna get shot from Tata, under in hell, Ghost gets in, and finally 1 trade, it's down to a 2 versus 3. Ghost, do you want to risk your Vandal? Do you want to go for it? Molly comes straight short, clearing Tata under the bird. Yes, Ghost has it. 2 versus 2, still plenty of time for the retake to happen, Raptor. Look at Bisca.
1 enemy remaining.
in, Ghost is cut down, but that spike is getting oh so low, but Erin has the spam through to make it all a problem. It's a round on the board once again for Trinity Dublin here as they bring it back to a 4-3 scoreline. They got a couple of rounds on the bounce there, and this is what we talk about when it comes to momentum. They've stemmed the bleeding somewhat.
I think we are looking at a first half buy from the defenders. No, it's maybe still not decided as we have a full buy coming in from Ghost, which also has the Blaze on Capybara with plenty of credits to invest into rifle, opting to only go for that bucking short once again. A very interesting choice as we see now Ghost holding the cross in C. This time is a jet, not a killjoy. You can't get isolated here because you can just dash away, as we see Ghost very skillfully doing right now.
Quiet all around the map. Haven through, Ghost playing with fire a little bit there, gets the information and the smoke coming through from the open as well. Oh boy! Jay has completely taken Tata out of the round there, and she continues to push up here in this situation, and unbeknownst to her, she's going in straight into danger.
You will not kill my ally!
This one flashed off, not checked whatsoever. What's happening here? They might have a free kill.
Not like this.
Get to the back of the head of Aaron.
Oh, Capybara, don't flash the position. Okay, Capybara does flash. Swings right into B. Oh my goodness, not quite deciding what to do. And Rock, the near side, falls away and gets the kill onto Capybara. Nice attempt with the bucket, but now it's up to the attackers again. 4 versus 3, but it is going to be a hard
30 seconds left.
Defenders, as I say that, Lunar gets caught off guard with the polar in hand. Run with the plastic in heaven, gets a kill. Goes with a second run. Still only in position of a classic.
Turn out.
One
enemy remaining.
Pushes on through. Ghost is out of the round now. It's just running the 1v2.
Spike planted.
Spike will go down.
One enemy remaining.
Used. That's a beautiful shot there onto Bisca. Picks up a rifle for good measure as well. And all of a sudden the sides have turned.
Face your fear!
Gets infested with Run. Has more than half. He's gonna stick it. Alarma gonna spot. If they're not done, yes, there is! Run has it! Despite getting the kill, it was too late for Meta, and Run converts around for their team with only a classic.
That is absolutely crazy. To commit to that situation there as well, to commit to the stick despite the utility being pushed through. Absolutely fearless there on the part of the run, and it's rewarded the team with the 5th round on the board.
Unbelievable.
Placing swarm grenade.
We are now looking at a 5-3, and what should have been a walk in the park round for the attackers has proven to be so damaging. The economy of both teams is not great, as we see Aaron, low shields, classic in hand, and a running back.
Cover going out.
Paranoid off the Capybara, going to respond with a with the power of her own. Caused a little bit of disarray there amongst the Trinity Dublin players, unable to
Bring them
through
down.
and take control of that C garage. So they'll have to try and back out of this one. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, pushes through a double push.
Look at Jay. Both Jay and Ghost in a great position A lobby. Now Jay's gonna fall back. Oh, as I say that, Biska swings and takes their head off. But are they going to kill Ghost? Ghost, let's run cross, gets
Enemy
the kill,
kill.
and that was the running back player of the Phoenix. But now Ghost is isolated in a 1
Bring
versus
them
4.
down.
Can he make an escape? The power coming through, Boombot coming through, Tata swinging, and it's not enough for Ghost as they are taken out, and it's yet another A side take.
Time for Plymouth to potentially get back here in time. It's not
30
like
seconds
this
left.
Too safe here for Trinity Dublin, but they're just going to make sure they can play for the retake instead, potentially with one player down. Plan coming through now.
Spike
Looks
planted.
available. Killjoy alters. It does go down, and now they start to push in. The attackers scatter into deeper positions. As Plymouth tried to take this A side back away, Rock though has found a little bit of a gap in the Killjoy ults here. Smoked off of that position. Slow wall coming through as well. Has the opportunity to spam through if the defuse comes out.
Fire in the hole!
Showstopper up. But Capybara and Luna are making it work. Showstopper from Biska to get the double, and the third of the round with Rock ending it with a spray through the smoke. And what was the beginning
My
of a
power does
beautiful
not end.
retake in the end
Ask
was
for
shut
aid,
down
and
by
you shall
the
receive.
Showstopper.
Indeed, it was very, very well placed, as well as a little bit of back and forth situation here now, but the defenders, Plymouth will have to take this one as a little bit of an eco. We've got a couple of upgraded pistols out there on the field, but not all that much in terms of significant investment. So this one's going to potentially be a little bit of a struggle for them as Trinity Dublin look to try and bring this level, which would be a good recovery considering how their start went.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Running back gets invested. That's a small advantage if you are the defender forcing the Phoenix ultimate. When you only have classics, is always good. Aaron gonna get one kill, almost a good transition. Gets the Omen Capybara very low on HP, but now they know that the B side is clear. Not anymore, as they hear Capybara peeking backside. Biska spotting run in garage window. Are they going to need it, or are they just going to pass it? You see, as I say that, Aaron gives away their life scot-free to Ghost. That should not have happened.
Run has a kill as well. We'll be able to pick up a rifle as well. Vandal on the floor now in the hands of that Killjoy, backing away. Now the decision changes here for Trinity Dublin as they focus more towards this A side, but Ghost has been on fire. The peek out of the Omen, completely not considering the tight angle there. You gotta consider the tight angles on the pistols. Oh, this has been a bit of a hash, hasn't it?
As indeed, Jay also investing at the running back. Rock with the wall in hand, spotting the
30
Omen,
seconds
running
left.
away, and it's down to a 3 versus 2. But this has allowed the defenders to pick up 2 rifles, and Capybara Sheriff still in play. What a confusing round so far, but can the defenders make all of the magic happen, or are the attackers going to shut down this beautiful eco attempt?
Careful
Molly
now.
coming in the corner, and Rita's going to get spotted. Yes. Gonna swing, gonna get 1, gonna get 2, gonna get more. No, they
Last
can't.
player
It's Jay
standing.
in a 1 versus 1.
Spike
Going up.
as well. The wall being cut up by Jay in this situation to try and seal off that short. But long is where that stage resides.
Oh,
the
good.
information has been given away now. Predicting the spike, and well, Rock seals Jay's fate at the very end of the round to bring it all level here on the first map of Haven between these two. It's been sledgehammer punches amongst both the teams here, with great individual performances coming out. And well, potentially a few mistakes being the deciding factor as well.
Yes, but we must specify it's mistakes on both sides.
Yes.
It's not like one team is committing more of the mistakes and the other team is taking advantage. The previous round we just witnessed was a complete mistake galore, and I think it might be the pressure maybe getting to the players right now. As yet again, okay, no, I thought Aaron was on a classic again. I was very, very curious about why that was the case. It was a Vandal on the floor. It's fine, but let's talk about Tata's ultimate. Obviously, the Omen Global TP is not the greatest ultimate I could say in Valorant, but it can still have great use, especially in that Haven. So far, Tata has not used it since round 2.
Very well place paranoia there from Capybara as well. Gonna have to teleport away to all the spam and the utility being thrown in a direction, repositions, but doesn't seem like the attacking side know exactly where she was teleported out to. They will decide to take the, well, not try and find out just yet as they attempt to initially back away. But they might have just found the timing to come back to Capybara's site here.
Yes, and Run has changed their position. Now, will probably get smoked off when they see hit is about to happen, but can Capybara make anything happen? We saw her pull some magic just before from a similar position. Can they get more? But as I say that, they're not smoking off in time, and Run gets the first kill. Can it? Oh, not this is the reveal, but still gets one kill. 2 versus
30
3.
seconds left. One enemy remaining.
Lunar,
Spike
and
planted.
on the ground, misses, flash misses as well. It's down to 1 versus 3. Kata with a headshot through the wall, but it's not enough as Ghost gets the final kill of the round.
Capybara once again getting 3 kills, one on that occasion from the very back of the site. Seems like that's a little bit of a blind spot as far as Trinity doubling are concerned when trying to attempt their execute there on
Last
the
round before the switch.
Great distraction work coming from Window and coming from Garage as well, which really contributed to that one, but yeah, you just can't be giving away 3 kills like that. Unfortunately, the smoke was pretty late onto the scene as well to try and try and neuter Capybara towards that seaside.
I wanted to say, oh, it's because it's Fade, it's not a Sova, the reveal doesn't get that far, but the reveal got that far, and it still revealed Capybara, they still got the kill.
Yeah, you got to use all the information that's been given to you. That's something I can say for certain. Again, a little bit more of a slower, more exploratory round here from Trinity Dublin. It is the final round of the half, of course, so full investments coming through. No offensive attacking ultimates to use just yet, though. That might just be a problem.
Yeah, and we see Lunar in the position of that Nightfall that they could use to retake a bomb site. So far, Biska just playing slightly behind Tata in Garage, not wanting to commit. I think they might have heard the turret in Garage, and they don't want to give away their information to Killjoy.
Moving up into mid, though. Oh. I was tempted. I thought Luna was going to peek that. Well, they go for the dry peek with very little utility here. Doesn't seem like much has been prepared, although the wall is up. The wall in. Pizza gets one already. As Luna falls in the initial stage of the take. Spike down as well.
Capybara finally TPing. They're still silenced, but a bit too late as Aaron managed to spot the angle. Jerry gets one. Run with a second, and it's down to 3 versus 2.
Face your fear!
But Nightfall coming in from the attackers too late. Tata gets taken out. That's when he gets one. But Ghost says, no, you're not doing this to us. This is our half. 7-5. And I want to ask you, after seeing the first 12 rounds, which team do you favor going into the second half of Haven?
Switching sides.
Are playing with a lot more confidence here, even though they just have a narrow lead here at the half-time. At the side switch, excuse me. I still feel that they are the ones that have the wind in their sails here at the moment. They are. They've been able to sort of rattle Trinity Dublin's cage here at the moment and really put them on the back foot, especially given the double duelist situation there they had on the attack and not really getting all that much out of it.
Yeah, and as we said previously, we miss her. Only a Sage as a Sentinel, which wasn't as much punished as I was expecting on the previous half. The flanks didn't really happen, but now, as you don't have a Cypher in Killjoy, it will be probably pretty hard to hold these fast pushes that we are witnessing right now in this pistol round with 5 players splitting A, but Tata smoking herself out. Vita gets a nice kill. Ghost finally trades it.
Down
Tata
A.
make anything happen with his frenzy. 2 players just behind. Spots one. Gets across. Nice headshot though from Jay. But Tata manages to escape and gonna go get a heal from the Sage.
Recalling my bot.
Backing out of that situation as well in the 4v3. Not going to push on either further. Try to find another little gap here. 2 on the A side, at least here initially for the defender side, although the rotations can be much more dynamic. The flash comes through from Aaron.
Spike
Find
down
the player
mid.
that wasn't flashed, funnily enough, as they continue to try and push in here. Spike has been recovered there by the Killjoy of Run, but it's a big arrow. for, and very short-lived indeed towards the end.
I must say, I think everything was on the back of Tata's playing short. Very nice, baiting herself out with her own smoke. Phoenix checking the corners, getting the headshot, but not enough, as I think it might have been a classic wallbang headshot from that range. The kill should have happened, but was not the case. Tata managed to disengage, player advantage, and yeah, they are proving us wrong, getting the pistol round, and we should be looking at a 7-7 scoreline.
Time to work.
Should be, but the best laid plans sometimes don't come to fruition, as we've seen throughout this game here. So you can't take anything for granted, especially at this stage of the competition. You need to be absolutely clinical with rounds like this to try and convert on the anti-eco. Can't afford to drop, you know, more than 2 players in rounds like this. Otherwise, you start to get yourself into a little bit more of a concerning one when it comes to that bonus round that's you're hoping for. But a slow, methodical approach in this one, at least initially here from Plymouth, looking to try and catch any pushes that might be coming through, but looks like Trinity Dublin is just holding station for now.
Yeah, very patient. Don't want to give away anything, but we have the run managed to collect one of the ultimate orbs in C-Long with a nice Omen smoke in front, and this is all about the small margins that you can get in this eco round. The chances of you winning classics versus specters is not that high, but getting as much as close as possible to using that lockdown on the Killjoy will prove beneficial later on in the half.
Absolutely will.
30
Signs
seconds
of life
left.
towards the A side of the map, though. A little bit of a lurk in mid from the Phoenix of Jay. But a lot of work for Mita to do here. She's got to hold this site all on her own.
Spike down A.
Kills here.
One
against
down.
the eco, against the pistol.
I got the spike. 10
10
seconds left.
One
enemy remaining.
Absolutely not. And we'll deny all of that. Make sure it's a cleaner round for the match.
Great hold from Mita in what was essentially a 1 versus 4, managing to get 3 kills despite being revealed by Lunar's reveal. Very, very great round, only losing 1 Spectre. But now, let's see what Mita's going to go for. Are they going to choose to play the Bucky, as we saw Capybara in the first half, or are they going to go for maybe a Sheriff or a Ghost? Yeah, it's just to be a Ghost here.
Does seem to be the situation. Linking up with the Phoenix on that A side. Focus towards C here, though, initially. Biscuit playing here all on her lonesome. Does have the supports from the window, though. But nothing that would be immediate if she gets rushed here. The smoke coming through will help things slightly as the information was given over. I've heard something towards that C-Long. Can I have a smoke, please? All delivered. As Run looks to give another prong to this attack as the utility's flying through.
Unfortunate timing from Tata to just leave the position as Run makes their way through garage double doors. But the position has been taken by Rock, unfortunately not managing to get the win in that duel versus the Killjoy. And now the rotate! Look at the great calling from the attackers, just rotating Run in a great position to pinch and get 2 kills. Now, look at the defenders all isolated in the opposite side. But no, they are going to be not to wait. What do you think about this decision?
Runner's been a bit of a thorn in the side. A little bit
One enemy
there.
remaining.
Runner's 4 kills in the round. On for the ace as well. Available.
Go ahead.
Tata
Call me
down,
tech
and
support
ace
again.
for
My
Run.
ultimate is ready.
Seals the deal with an 8th round. Oh.
Textbook Valorant. That's what I have to say about that. Baiting utility out, faking a C-Long take, allowing your Killjoy lurk to take control of Garage, and we know when Killjoy gets in positions such as that one, that is their playground to Run, showing us some fantastic Killjoy positioning, timings, and obviously 5 kills.
Can't complain, can you? You can't really complain about that. Early peek here from Erin towards the long side, and well, we'll just be straight up bested in the aim duel there, up against Ghost. She has been very impressive with her shots so far in this one, and it seems like that's a trend that's going to continue. Attackers swarming on towards the A side of the map now, and another retake attempt from Trinity Dublin.
It will be a Nightfall
You
versus
should run
Lockdown.
down.
Lockdown
Spike
already gets
planted.
put in play. by the attackers, and I think it's going to stall just another 12 seconds before the Nightfall can get invested. I'll be completely honest, I think this should be a save. I think you're just saving 4 guns and you go for 8-8 play for the next round. I don't think they will go for the save, but I think that's the correct choice.
I mean, Ball coming in, everyone marked up. Jay trying to hold from the middle of the site. Capybara
One
finds a
enemy
kill.
remaining.
Attack here. There's the double kill from Jay as well, and it leaves Mita all alone up against 5, and she'll take the decision just to back out and try and get away. Maybe the next drag here onto Jay is going to be successful. Maybe Ghost going to walk into this one. Not's going to get the second, and Ghost scores the round. But yeah, that was a commitment there, which you certainly didn't want to see there, Waxon, and it definitely wasn't successful, especially when the players are hitting their shots.
Yeah, Jay with a beautiful bounce flash on the Phoenix as well to stop the retake from spawn. We're now looking at 4 stingers, and we know how potent stingers can be, and they can do lots of damage. But interesting choice from Jay. We saw them do great work with the Marshall in the first half. Now going for the operator. No, they realized we're playing versus Nico. No point for me to buy an op just yet.
5 stinger death ball runs out mid. I mean, it's an interesting call. Let's see if anything results in it.
Bring that
They're fighting it.
Didn't really pay dividends in the situation. Already netted the kill as they continue to try and push through. Couple of losses through the attacking side as they try to recover this one.
Spike down, attacker spawn.
Still working. They still have the HP advantage, and if Run and Jay would just spike to A. No, running back, they don't have the spike. Bizka gets the kill, and now Jay, he must get the kills with the running back, or they'll get punished. Mita gets it, gonna swing, gonna get a kill. Yes, no, oh my goodness, Mita! And the Stinger death ball down mid works.
I'm completely speechless, Waxon. I don't know how that works. In what universe does that work? I mean, you have to pull out those sometimes just to have the sheer shock factor of the attacking side going, what in the world is going on? And that initial startle really puts them off.
I gotta say, I think it was just a slight maybe overconfidence right here from the attackers. They heard at least, you can hear at least 3 or 4 opponents rushing you down mid, and they opted to take the fight instead of going to aim. I think that was the first mistake. But now we're pretty much back to even playing thing. Field 10 rifles, run spots, airing, deals a bit of damage to her, and we're gonna try to clear Tata in a very good angle on top of the box. Gonna get what a pre-fire from Run!
That's how you clear a site. Let's just say that. 3 platforms as well. Ghost up above. And Harry pushing through straight to the front there of that killjoy. No support from behind either. Mita at least able to draw 1 back in this situation, but the support from the stage on the other side.
Last player standing. 1 enemy remaining.
A couple of players. 2 kills into one. This one now as Capybara has paranoia. Fisker shot in the back as she tried to run away.
What a back and forth round, and whenever we see one of the teams pull off a miraculous victory, it feels like the next round they're just doing some overcommits that they shouldn't have. We saw Aaron right there pushing through the smoke without waiting for the reveal from Mita to come through, and Aaron gets punished despite flashing the opponents. And now, yet again, the economy is in shambles. Are we going to see another set of stingers? It doesn't seem to be the case.
Not quite. Not quite. Just a couple of sheriffs out there, and that's going to be it. No meme rounds this time around, as Mita taking the proactive angle here towards the A-long side of things, trying to look for that cheeky little headshot. Peeks out straight into the crosshair of Ghost, though, who's definitely more than capable of holding her own against situations like that. Erin paranoid off the angle, Capybara teleporting through. Response from Erin, though, a little bit of scrappy here towards the tunnel.
Showstopper getting invested right here, but no! Bizka losing her life and her ultimate, and it seems to be a flawless round for the attackers. Maybe a bit of an over-investment coming in from the Raze player, and it's only Rock, a Sheriff, low shields, and a Dream in a 1 versus 5.
Yeah, I think she was really expecting more players to be there than there was. So, not ideal use of the ultimate here. Get that final kill onto Rock, who will fall. Flawless rounds. here from Plymouth as they march quickly towards a map 1 win, and one that's, at least if you look at the picks, they weren't really expected to win, given it's not their decision. So rifle round out once again. This might be the deciding round, all things considered.
You mentioned this, Plymouth winning this. Well, they seem to be prone to winning right now, as they have the ultimate advantage, utility advantage, credits to play for the until the end of the half. And this is not their map pick, but Mita gonna take the duel. Nice spot, nice retreat. You just want to get a kill, and then you can use your nice ult again, combining it with the running back to retake the side. But what a great takeover right now, and I think Run wants to get into that corner to use the lockdown.
Let's go!
Oh,
Where are
running back already.
Oh, he was pushed through from Aaron, right with the going for the proactive play with the running back.
You should run.
Just teleport straight back towards side. Killjoy lockdown is in effect here on the attacking side, forces those defenders away to give a little bit more free real estate to Plymouth as they decided to bite the cherry and get that spike down. Biska though, the long game towards the
Spike planted.
Mita, can they get a kill here? Spots an opponent. Oh, so close to a headshot. See, it's gonna come through.
Face
Run
your
already
fear!
aware of Biska, but gonna get naded. Pink shells coming through already. Lots of damage being dealt, and Biska gets the kill. Now the flank is open, but Lunar gets the kill onto Aaron and Rock. And despite a great flank coming through, Nightfall gets invested from the attackers. Biska, though, getting the pink shells again. 2 versus 3.
Last player standing.
hitting shots, but not considering the slight off angle that the Phoenix was holding. 12 rounds on the board now.
Match
for
point.
the Plymouth Quokkas, and it is match point indeed, and it's going to be a scrappy force spike here from the side of Trinity Dublin to try and keep themselves in this game. It's definitely been a showing that they won't necessarily be proud of after this is said and done, but it is a best of 3. They will have the chance to respond once we go on to Fracture, but they're definitely up against it.
And Jay picks up the operator. Vandal on the floor as well. We saw how great she was with the Marshall.
out of my
they
way.
make any magic happen with that operator, as we only have Capybara already using the ultimate to check backside C. And it's only going to be Biska. 1 versus 5. Get revealed. Lots of damage being dealt. Pink shots coming through. Can they get a kill? Yes, they can, with a lot of help from
Spike
Garage.
down,
Now
C.
disengaging, and this is already much better as Run gets the kill on Mita to try to rotate. But Biska still very well. Finger in hand. Oh, 1 HP for Ghost. What a shot from Jay! And this is unbelievable. Phoenix Mollies gets traded, and now the spike will finally get planted.
Operator no scope. The
Spike
defenders
down,
with the
C.
retake. Spike has been, well,
One
rocked.
enemy
Just
remaining.
goes for the 1 HP. Able to cut down Aaron.
Last player
The
standing.
mistime reload. That's so unfortunate. Can Capybara try and close this one out for her team? The smoke is deployed. Spike still has yet to be picked up, but it's a 1v1 mirror match. The 2 Omen and Sattler. You forget your place.
Pick the op? No op. No op. To be fair, I have noticed that Emisser have opted to not play with that operator in hand, but I still think they could have really used it in the remaining rounds of this half. But now, I mean, I am speechless. I'll be completely honest. What was that round? Operator acted like a shotgun, then the shotgun long range kill because the jet was 1 HP. What is happening?
I don't know at this point, but Plymouth do have to be very, very careful here that they're not going to try and choke this one and bring it to an overtime situation here on map number 1. Of course, another gun round out there, as it was again a force buy with just some of the random guns that Trinity Dublin were able to put out there. So should be a little bit more of a normal round, but I know the danger in saying that in this situation here, Wax, and after what has been a crazy match so far. Here comes towards Ada coming through as well as Run cuts down Biska. Biska has been so pivotal here for Trinity Dublin in these previous couple of rounds, getting so many frags onto the board, but now she's out of the round early, so let's see how this changes the complexion.
Despite getting that great entry from Run, doing all the beautiful work in Garage, they're opting against committing, just slowing it down, but they realize we can't go to A. If we're going to A, they will res Biska, and we don't want her back in the server. So they will take control of Garage yet again, this time with Jay and Capybara.
Careful now.
Molly to clear the corner, but they're still not committing. Tata with a nice shoulder peek, not spotting anyone in C. They
30
have a
seconds
smoke,
left.
and Tata gonna change position. About to spot. Ghost, very low HP. Jay swings garage as Tata tries to break the reveal, and it's down to a 5 versus 4. Run on the
Sage
flank.
killed.
Rez out of play, and we seem to be looking at the beginning
Last
again.
player
As
standing.
Aaron gets 180 flick by Run, and it's Mita. Nightfall in a 1 versus 5.
Plymouth 1 kill away from getting themselves first map on the board. Yeah, Nita tries to fight for her life, finds the 1 frag, but that's all
Attackers
she's going
win.
to find as the first map goes the way of the Plymouth Cougars.
What a great start of this series. I'm very impressed with both teams, despite some early mistakes that we noticed on both sides. I think as the first map progressed, we noticed all 10 players warming up into it. And what a show. 13-10 to end the first map. I can't wait to see what's in store for us on Fracture.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe more of the same. Maybe a bit of a more dominant performance from one of our teams. Remember, that is Plymouth's map's pick as well. And after a very comfortable performance here on Haven, they definitely have their wind in the sails when it comes to that second map of this best of 3. But never say never. I don't think Trinity Dublin are going to be too out of this one in this situation. Let's see if they have anything up their sleeves for that Fracture map 2.
Yeah, especially with some of the last few rounds they managed to convert, including the Stinger round, including the Judge round. I think their confidence, although maybe not at an all-time high, is still there because they've seen we can get 9 rounds and we can play close and we can trade kills. And yeah, Fracture is a map that I think kind of enables the teams to use that Sage a bit better than what we saw from them on Haven. Maybe still a bit of a questionable choice of an agent select if you ask me, but 9 rounds, nothing to laugh at.
Nothing to laugh at either, especially considering the roster situation, shall we say. But
yeah,
like you pointed out, though, basically coming online in those last couple of rounds does give them a little bit of hope that at least they will have a duel list that's on form here in this situation. Erin had a little bit of a struggle there on the Phoenix there at Haven, so there might be an opportunity for her to try and bounce back coming into that Fracture as well. But it still did seem like this game was really decided on the mistakes going either way, and unfortunately, it was the mostly the mistakes from that Trinity Dublin side that ended up losing them this first map, unfortunately.
Well, I can't wait to get onto Fracture, but we will have to wait just a few minutes as we will be taking a short break, but we will return with the Amazon University Esports UK and Ireland Women and Non-Binary Valorant Spring 2023. Stay tuned.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London, saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
And we are back with the playoffs of the Amazon University Esports and Ireland Women and Non-Binary Valorant Spring 2023. I am Waxon and I'm joined by Raptors to bring you the action from Map 2 of this amazing series between the Plymouth Quackers and We Miss Her. Raptors, Fracture is a completely different ballpark to Haven.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely a map that's not too well liked amongst the player base. However, it's just the situation we find ourselves in here in this map number 2. Of course, you know, a little bit different from the vast majority of the Valorant maps that we have, in that it's, you know, much more focused towards the attacker side, where you can get those pincer moves in on towards either of the two sites there. So again, it's played in a completely different philosophy as to what we saw on Haven. So maybe that means changes for the comps coming into this one potentially, where you really want to lean on those agents that can really slow down these pushes that the attackers are able to get going so quickly. But we will just have to wait and see in amongst these teams, because they have decided to surprise us already, so there's no reason why they can't do so again.
Yeah, of course, Fracture, a map where, like we said before the series even started, we have seen so many compositions without any duelists. And KO, Breach, Fade, all agents that are so viable, maybe even Harbor combined with a Viper, who knows?
Ooh, yeah, I would like to see the Viper out there. That's for sure. That tends to be one of the maps where she is definitely prevalent. So it would be very useful in this sort of situation between these two teams. But at least for Plymouth, they'll of course, you know, when you consider it as their map pick, potentially a little bit more prepared for what's to come here on Fracture. But then again, Dublin would not have let it fall through the gaps in terms of the veto if they weren't willing to play it either. So it's going to be a very interesting situation here. I'm not entirely sure which way this one's going to go. If I had to be forced at gunpoint to make a decision, then of course I would go with Plymouth at this stage, considering the performance in that previous map at Haven. Very organized, very competent at what they were able to put out there. Maybe you have to reduce the mistakes just a little bit, because, you know, they had a few situations where Dublin were able to push themselves back into the game, maybe make a bit of a challenge of it towards the end. Maybe a little bit more clinical performance here on Fracture will do them well in terms of trying to seal the deal in quite convincing fashion. However, again, if those primary players on the side of Dublin really come to the forefront, then we could be talking about a very different game, even if it won't necessarily be duelist focused due to the nature of the map.
Yeah, of course. And we have seen, I think it was Jay in Haven Agent Select hovering that Neon, which they opted against and went for the Phoenix. But Fracture is a map where Neon and Raze, which you've already seen, it's their playground.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I would see them perform outstandingly. I am very excited to see what's in store for us on this map. And more than everything, I'll have to be completely honest, I would like to see We Miss Her mounting a comeback and bringing us onto that split map 3. Do I believe it's going to happen though? I'm not so sure. I must see more from We Miss Her in order for them to convince me that they can make it happen.
Yeah, the individuals need to step up a little bit more, right? We saw that from Biska towards the very end of Haven, you know, where she was able to get up in the faces of the Plymouth players and really make that raise work. However, it can't take that long to get online here at Fracture, otherwise Plymouth are just going to steamroll all over you. So it's a lot of pressure on these players' shoulders. Yes, they will have an additional chance, whichever team loses, to be able to go through the lower bracket and get into the grand finals that way. But you want to be doing it in convincing fashion, and the pressure is still there.
Yeah, the Plymouth Quackers are really happy right now. Capybara leading in calls from what I gathered, at least in the first map. And I'm just looking, losing your map pick, and it's the first time when you lost this tournament, that might also be something that's gonna halt your momentum. Can we see Mr. bounce back into Fracture? Well, we don't have to waste any more time because map 2 of Fracture is now underway.
Yeah, getting ourselves in towards that agent select in just a handful of moments' time to see what the comps will be coming into this second map. And, well, no insta-locks here just yet, just a bunch of hovers as we see the Cypher and the Rays being currently selected here on the defending side of Plymouth. But, of course, nothing locked in at this stage. So a little bit of a slight hint of what their comp's going to be as we get those locked in already.
A fade for Run, opting to step back from that Sentinel that they were so prevalent on Haven, going onto the Initiator fade, and this time it will be Jay, the former Phoenix playing, going onto the Cypher. So not just agents, different agents, but different roles completely from the players, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with. I'll be completely honest. You know what, it works. You've done it. You've succeeded with it. Why not just stick to it?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what Capybara is doing. Straight onto the Owen. If it's not broken, don't fix it, right? That's the situation there. Ghost, of course, hovering the Jet in the situation as well. Meanwhile, on the other side, a little bit more interesting. Chamber being hovered here in this situation there, albeit briefly, with the Viper option available there with the Breach as well. So a little bit different philosophies coming out here. We'll see exactly which are locked in, but I think everything's kind of set in stone here at the moment as that timer ticks down to 0.
And we see Mita finally opting to go for the Cypher, stepping away from that Killjoy that they have been hovering. And looking at these two comps, I gotta say, I love We Miss Her comps way more than Plymouth's.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot more aggressive options, especially starting on the attacking side. So maybe this would be a strategy for them to try and get out of the blocks early and try and take this game within the first couple of rounds to show their authority, to try and get at least some form of wind in their sails, because they might have felt a little bit dejected coming out of that Haven map, and quite rightfully so, considering their map pick. But this is an aggressive option, let's just say that. Let's see if it pays dividends here, because they need to have the ability, the shots, the aggression to be able to capitalize on what this comp is.
Yeah, and we see Visca sticking to the true and tested Rays. Aaron, same with the Phoenix. Only Rock switching from the Sage onto the Breach. Very interesting. I have to admit, the double duelist, with one of them being Phoenix and the other counterpart Jet. It's not something we often see on Fracture.
Not often at all. But however, Ghost feeling confident that she'll be able to make that Jet work there on the side of Plymouth. Of course, they decided to bring us here on to Fracture, so maybe they have something planned for that Jet, as the guys on the B side here initially. A split towards that B side. 3 from the south side here in this situation. Let's see if they can hold on.
Already a quick hit down B with a split. Jay just popping straight behind. Tripwire didn't grant them a kill, but Visca gonna jump onto the side. Ghost with a nice off angle. Gonna smoke themselves off and lose their life in the process. You gotta take that gunfight there. You can't just do that. The paint shell's coming in. Missing! The paint shell's fully missed. What happened there?
Still forces off the plant though, and allows a little bit of an opening here.
One enemy remaining.
With the drone coming out as well. Run just before the wall goes up, but it's a simple retake in the end there for the Plymouth side. It falls somewhat on the side of Trinity Dublin. This round goes towards Plymouth there in relatively unexpected fashion.
Yeah, a quick retake. Very, very interesting. I don't know what happened with the paint shells right there coming in from Lunar, flying in, dealing no damage right there onto the planters. Tata getting away with the life scot-free, managing to change positions, but in the end, getting wallbanged by a Ghost from Canteen. And I feel like this has been the story of the series so far. Pistol rounds going in favor of Plymouth.
They still technically did their job though in terms of forcing the player off the plant and to try and readjust. So it isn't a massive misplay here. But either way, it needs to be a little bit more clinical here. As we see that aggressive angle from the Cypher towards the B side of the map, but Run's going to get aggressive towards the other side as well. As, well, so Trinity Dublin try and flood in off the back of this one, despite losing one player this early on. Run from below. With the smoke and one on the fade away as well. 3 kills on the board for Run, and, well, it seems like Trinity Dublin are just hightailing out of there. They want nothing to do with it.
They are just going around the map, securing the ultimate orbs for the breach. I love seeing that. Or actually for Tata. Tata seems to be the one that has been farming the orbs already on 4. If they manage to get even 1 or 2 more, plus the death, they will be 1 ultimate orb away from getting the Vipers get into the next round. But it's not the case. Tata just jumps onto the side, gonna go for an attempt to plant the spike, but the rotate is already coming in. And it's Tata, Frenzy in a 1 versus 4. Got a spot. One opponent, Jason will jump in, and it goes to the end. And a flawless victory right here for the defenders.
Very, very clean there from Plymouth. Exactly what they needed to go. Not only 2 rounds up here in this situation, but like you said, flawless, dropping no players on that previous one. Puts them in a very, very good position here as we head into this bonus for them. Of course, rifles on the board now here for Trinity Dublin. They need to at least get that 1 response in, because if they drop this round against the inferior weaponry, then unfortunately,
don't hold back.
The chances of taking this round with this map win, even at this very early stage, starts to dwindle by quite a significant margin if they can't get this one on the board. Focus towards the A side of the map this time around. Luna deploying utility early on, paint shells in, gonna do nothing in terms of damage, but force them back in terms of the position. Smash through.
Right
Try
there.
to establish control now.
Look at Rock already infiltrating Sand, and I don't think he's not quite aware of that position as Arian flashed himself in. And what a blind coming from Capybara, getting a nice kill. Rock trading from Sand, gonna get a second until Lunar reaches the window. And now it's going to be 2 versus 3, and I think the spike might just go down. Yes, it will.
Let's say those paranoia placements from Capybara have been absolutely exemplary so far this season. He's able to find multiple players time and time again. Gunfights out there on towards the A side. Biska able to pick one up here on this post-plant situation. Just getting on top of that.
1 enemy remaining.
Biska gets another one. Run goes down. It's a 1 versus 2 situation here. Goes there on low HP.
Last player standing.
She wants the gun as well. Oh my word, that somehow, I have no idea how that happens at the best of times. Still goes round going the way of the attackers due to the spike being down, but what?
I mean, Ghost with some great headshots there, Biska with some great initial headshots, and then with a paint shell to just, you know, just there at the right time, right place, exploding, taking Ghost out when it was very low HP, and managing to get the first round on the board for the attackers, but losing 5 in the process means 5 rifles, but 4 with low shields.
Softens them up just a little bit for the defenders of the situation. A single-dimensional attack here on towards the B side through the main.
Camera taken out.
Just hiding towards the backer side, just not peeking at this stage. Instead, keeping up with Ghost here, and able to punish the pushes through. Trades happening on the both sides there. But when you have the numbers advantage as the attackers, you're going to end up taking the site as the Trinity Dublin players have done so. 3 versus 3 this post-plant. The Viper's pit is up as well.
Mita just sneaking into the Viper's pit right there. But Run gets the kill. Heaven is going to allow him to use the nightfall from drop. Gonna get the first kill, but Mita with a nice kill. Lunar! Paint shells finally doing their job, killing Tata in the Viper's pit, and it will be the retake 3 versus 4 from this outstanding duo of Run and Lunar.
That's an interesting choice to go for the super passive hold there towards the B side, so hoping that's that the Trinity Dublin players will get so aggressive in their pushes in, and didn't end up working out in terms of a site hold. Cut down the numbers enough for to allow the retake to happen, though. An interesting decision there on the defense to allow that pump to come through. But you can see now the economy really hurting on the side of those Trinity Dublin players now. Just getting a couple of frenzies out there, and that will be pretty much it. It's side for the light armor on towards Biska.
And it's only because of that first gun round they had when they lost all 5 rifles. They can't afford to buy anything now, and despite having 3 great ultimates to get onto a site, they probably won't be able to use them unless Biska decides to go for some incredible play. Hopefully not. Classics and Frenzy don't really do that well versus Vandals. As I say that, Showstopper comes through already, and they get a kill, but Tata gets it. The rocket doesn't even come through, but look at Ron in a great position. Luna gets the kill from drop.
Spike planted.
For Luna with the second, spamming all the angles. Nita swinging through sand, and
I
still
know
3 versus
exactly
3.
where you
Ultimate
are.
Euro Theft getting invested.
Location being revealed here.
Last player standing.
Still a little bit of a sketchy situation though.
Night,
For the defenders, Ghost is the only one. Was a 1 versus 3. Cut down to a 1 versus 2 now with rifle still in hand. Mita's been able to pick up a Vandal though, as they are right on top of each other, right on that spike, but the information seems to have not been there. The Ghost is cut down by the Frenzy. 4 in the round for Tata, as Ghost can't get the retake going in the 1 versus 2. That's a round on the board, but that's Trinity Dublin were absolutely not expecting. It was a ballsy play with the push with the ultimate through the smoke. That could have gone so wrong so quickly, but it didn't.
I will never doubt them again. Despite the Showstopper not doing much work, it allowed for the space to be created, and Tata enabled with that Frenzy getting on side and 4 kills to convert what was a very impossible eco. And now look at the opponent's economy. The defenders can buy into this. It's Capybara going back to a trusted Bucky.
Up close and personal behind the smoke, and should we get a bit of action here in a couple of moments if the Trinity Dublin players decide to explore a little bit more beyond their means towards this side of the map. Just Aaron here to make sure there are no cheeky pushing through here, and ooh, it's a free kill given the way that Tatler finding Ghost, and now weakness towards the B site.
Off your
Tatler's in
feet!
no rush though. Rolling Thunder through to try and clear it out, but no one's home.
Very safe play, using the Rolling Thunder when you're playing versus low utility opponents. You don't want to be punished. After you manage to win with pistols, you don't want to give the round away to other pistols. And then Viper Spit as well from Tata already. They're only 2 rounds away from they last had it. And it's going to be a 4 versus 5 Frenzy Buckies and Sheriffs to retake this site. And I think this is still a great victory for the defenders. A lot of skills was invested. Rock gonna swing through a flash, get a double kill, and it's only gonna be Jay and Capybara in a 1-2 versus. Never mind, it's done. 3-3 scoreline, and despite winning flawlessly, there was some heavy investments being made in that round.
Yeah, the utils coming through. You can see that they just wanted to get that one onto the board. You mentioned that at the time, the conservative approach of just saying, okay, we don't have any more information towards this B site apart from the one that we killed. We're just going to send the Rolling Thunder in anyway and not really take any chances. So you can see the desperation has sort of coming into effect there for Trinity Dublin in terms of just wanting to get some form of momentum in this game. But it makes them shorter tools now heading in towards these slightly later rounds. Yes, you have to run it back up here for Erin, but Erin again hasn't really shown up in this game here, unfortunately, on the duelist. So bit of a struggle, but still time left in this map for her to make an impact.
I gotta say, I love Jay's tripwire up in sand. Gonna allow Lunar to play off of it, swing that corner when the tripwire gets broken on someone runs into it. But look at the read. Great IGLing right here from the attackers, approaching the B site again where no one's in it. They're playing for a retake. But Tata gets punished. They don't want to invest the Viper wall, they want to play contact, but that means you will have no more smokes. And now this seems to be an impossible round as Aaron tries to make something happen. And they do. Can they get more? Oh, Run escapes with 40 HP.
Erin at least getting one with the run it back there. A slight mistiming on the initial entry towards the site there for the attackers. Ghost towards the backer site, cuts down Mita, and looking for more as Ghost here cuts down a low HP Mita.
One enemy remaining.
Now. Rock is able to secure 2 kills to make this one somewhat competitive, but Capybara with the final 2.
Was that important?
Around there for Plymouth in a crappy close plan situation.
Yeah, Aftershock invested by Rock onto tower instead of holding it for the post plant. Still getting 2 kills on the back of that swing through the smoke. And the economy, though, defenders, Plymouth managed to get around, but losing 3 in the process is going to cost him dearly, as Jay can't afford a rifle, and they're going back to the Marshall. We saw Jay do some great work with an operator, with a Marshall in Haven, but no. Oh, I wanted to see more of that. Just a stinger this time around.
Disappointing. We got teased there. You got to commit to the meme, okay? But that's just my philosophy towards life there.
I agree.
A little bit of a slower play this time around here, coming out from the Trinity Dublin players, deciding to spread out a little bit in this default. It'll be an eventual focus towards this A side of the map where 3 defenders reside.
Erin reading a B push from the defenders, which is not the case, but playing that angle behind the tripwire in T-spawn, not gonna create any advantage this time. Tata uses the Viper wall before committing to a side battle. Look at the setup from Jay. Gonna die before anyone even gets into the tripwires, only because of that well-placed Aftershock, and now it's gonna be another 4 versus 5 retake attempt.
They've shown they are very, very capable at these sorts of retakes on previous occasions. They have a couple of ultimates to use as well. Showstopper available if they so require. Bladestorm as well to be able to be deployed on that jet. But the stalemate as they start towards edge their way in now. Through Capybara with the aggressive teleport up on towards heaven, and now looking down and into the side of down Erin. Then the
One enemy remaining.
gets the double kill on the response there. Now it's just run up against 4, and it doesn't look like she has the appetite to do so, nor the time, as she retreats through the defender spawn, and another round on the board for doubles.
Great setup right there from Dublin, just great utility. Cypher tripwires forcing Capybara to run into them if they want to defuse the spike. Then a swing from Bisca coming in, securing the kill. And now, you mentioned momentum. The momentum is fully in the attacker's favor.
Just dropping that 1 round in the last 4. So looking very, very positive at the moment here for Dublin. I would say they need to get a couple more if they want to inspire a little bit more confidence in their performance that they've been showing so far this series. A little bit of a change in decision as well. Heading towards that B bench side, in towards the arcade. Again, a one-dimensional attack here, no pincer moves deployed, and well, this is going to be the first time we've seen this sort of approach here from the attacking side. Spotted out though, information being given over. That's why Cyphers are so useful.
Isn't that tripwire we just saw from Jay, from Mita just slightly too high? No one is gonna go check and gonna try to push, but yeah, I think the tripwire was just slightly too up. But look at Capybara, no longer a bucket, it's a shorty in drop. Can they make anything happen as 5 players approach him? Phoenix wall coming through. Shorty, no! Erin punishes the shorty kill, but Run gets the kill through the Phoenix
Bring
wall.
them down.
Capybara just looking to try and capitalize on that,
planted.
but you know, you can see you could probably imagine the clip in her head before that situation arrived, but unfortunately not able to go through it, as we'll get ourselves again this
One enemy remaining.
from the breach as well. The follow-up being
Cage trigger.
all looking pretty good as far as Dublin are concerned, but
Here.
yeah, I think we all wanted that clip to happen, to be honest, not just Capybara.
I gotta commend Rock, despite not the most successful performance on the stage in Haven. Now on the breach, just putting on great work, and it's not just about the 10 kills that she has, but moreover the way they use the utility and combine it with Bisca and Erin to take control of the sites.
This goes here.
Has indeed been pretty sufficient so far.
That goes there.
But close game here on Fracture, at least in this side this first half. Another focus towards this speed side of the map. Ghost from up above, watching from behind, spots out the shoulder. Spot gets a couple of shots in, but not the kill, as Erin has to pull away very, very slightly. Nice support from the backside of the site as they try to pile in here, just into a bunch of Capybara's bullets, but will be cut down as Ghost tries to respond. Again, the trades. Now the spike plant in a 3 versus 3.
Mita? What's happening? They're dropped. They're dropped. They AFK. Oh, Jay? Wondering why they can't hit the shots. Mid are disconnected. Very unfortunate.
One enemy remaining.
With a 4-5. Reconnecting just a bit too late. It's only going to be Aaron in a 1 versus 3. Very unfortunate scenario. Can Aaron make anything happen? No flashes. Just going to drive in the angle. Spots raise on the spike. And picks up the spike. No! Almost with a perfect transition, but Lunar steps up and gets the final kill in order to get the score up to
Team
5-5.
Ace.
Yeah, Luna wasn't able to get that half complete there, so that could have been a much more intriguing situation there. Inside of that site, as we are all leveled 5-5. The rounds being picked up here and there by Plymouth, but after such a strong start, they've struggled to get themselves any form of good position in this game so far. Yes, they're holding on quite well on the defensive side of Fracture, which is good in anyone's book. Let's just say that, but I would have thought it would be in a slightly more convincing fashion than they're doing so.
I have to say that round that we just saw, very, very unfortunate from We Miss Her. Meta had the neural theft, could have used it and had been such a great advantage in the 3 versus 3. Would have also spotted maybe Jay on the flank. Very, very unfortunate, but it's just the type of issue you sometimes have to face when it comes to esports.
Yeah, that's just the situation here. We might even be taking a little bit of a tech pause here as well, as there may be some residual issues that we're going to have to be attempting to solve here on our second map. But what a place to have a pause. Completely equal 5-5 here in this first map. Looks like we might be jumping in pretty much immediately, because it looks like the attacking side is all good. So as long as everyone is okay and all stable and connected to the server, we should be jumping straight back in.
Looking at the economy right now, We Miss Her has money to play both of the remaining rounds. But here, if we have Plymouth losing this one, they will struggle to invest into the final one. So it's going to be very interesting. Which side is this going to go? Are we going to see another 7-5 as we did on Haven, or are we going to end it up with 6 apiece? Let's say that is the case and we finish with 6-6. Who do you think in favors going into the second half?
Coming into the second half, I mean, Dublin do have the win in their sails here at the moment. I know it's a phrase that I completely overuse at the best of times, but you'd be hard pressed to try and bet against them at this stage, because it seems like they found a little bit of a comfort spot here on this attacking side of Fracture. Easy to find given the attacking side of Fracture, but it's but I think this is kind of the breathing room that they needed, because throughout the entirety of Haven, throughout the entirety of the first part of this map, they've been under pressure, but now they found their own bit of space where they can just work with and not be too concerned about the battering ram of Plymouth coming through every single round.
Joke's over! You're dead!
See if they can use this space though.
Can Jay get any kills with the Bulldog through the smoke? Oh my goodness, they're just avoiding the tripwires. Bulldog breaking the first one. Bisca with a nice kill, finding and spot someone. But Jay gets flashed instantly as they tries to swing and wallbang that position. And Camera with a nice angle, gonna get a tag onto Bisca. It's up to a 4 versus 5. And like I said, you don't want to lose this round if you're Plymouth. You can't afford buying into next as Lunar loses their life. Eric with a nice bait right here. Smoke coming in. And Run gets the kill to Mita. Eric flashing in. Doesn't spot the opponent, but Rock with the backup. It's only gonna let Jay the 1 versus 4. Spots 1 because of the Phoenix Molly. Get the wallbang headshot with the Bulldog. Gonna get the second. No! Oh! A couple of shots missed, but yes, the hero to Rock. Neural Theft gets invested. Viper Speed Showstopper coming through, and Jay has to run. Oh my goodness! They're twins again. Get the bird. What is happening? No more time. But Jay did so much work. Will it make a difference? I don't think so, because look at the credits. They can buy for at least another 3 rounds if we had them in half.
A complete. I don't know whether that was a
half.
miscommunication or what, but the information should have been given about the position of the Cypher there straight after that Phoenix kill, but Breach with the back to the opponent. That's a little. You don't want that to happen. Let's just say that. But thankfully for them, they are able to recover in this situation. Although taking a couple of severe losses and hits to the economy.
I have to ask, what do you think about that Ray's ultimate? Do you think it was worth it to try to take Jay's rifle out, considering the defenders could have not bought again, or do you think it was more of a hot finger type thing?
I think it was a panic. I think it was a panic ult. I'll be completely honest, especially with the time left remaining on the spike. There wasn't really much they were able to do anything in that situation. Double entry.
I know
onto it.
exactly
Right
where
there.
you are.
My word, the neural theft coming out as well in this situation, just to ensure the site safety there, but
Spike planted.
forceful entry there on the part of Dublin, but Erin.
One enemy
Into
remaining.
the back of Capybara, the defender's being cut down. This is looking like a very convincing round.
This is looking like the beginning of Split, I may even say, as we have Ghost in a 1v5, managed to find a Vandal, 21 bullets, spotted by the cam. Can Ghost pull a wonderful round out their bag? Smoke to open the door as the flash comes through. It's only sticking. Ghost gets flashed, swings to the smoke, doesn't get any. Tata with a beautiful position behind the door, and we're looking at yet another 7-5, but this time in favor
Switching
of
sides.
Miss Her.
Side swap, but GH is in chat as well as, well, this is the point where we'll decide whether or not we're going to go on to a third map of Split, or if it ends here and now. To get the latter situation though, Plymouth will have to come back from this 5-7 scoreline on the attacking side here of Fracture. And let's see if they're able to pull one out of the bag here. Let's see if Dublin can convert on their fantastic sort of second quarter of this map so far, especially with rounds like that last one where they were just so clinical, entering on towards the sites, leaving nothing in doubt whatsoever.
Prowlers to clear A main, and it's only going to be mid-high inside, but she does have two helpers in drop just by the dish. But look at the rotate. Oh, I think I've seen this before. And Biska is aware of this play, gets a kill. Tata dealing some damage, gonna have to throw the poison just to slow down this take of the B side, and it's only gonna be Tata in tower in a 1 versus 4 to slow down his plant.
Tata can pick off one here. Fantastic situation. Punishing Ghost for pushing through. Rock with the response. 2 on the frenzy. Rock is able to respond though. 2 versus 2 situation now in this post plant. On the pistols on the B side. Rock a smoke in the way.
Last player standing.
Inside the site can't do anything. And now it's the Cypher left all alone. One
enemy remaining.
The classic, but the trade's available. Tata with 3 in the round will also get the defuse to give the early advantage here to Dublin as they look to try and
Toxin screen down.
Great attempt at a tactic to push Sand into rope and CT all the way to A, getting the spike down, but unfortunately Tata doing so much work, stalling the plant for that long, getting a couple kills, and then in the end managing to double swing. I think it was Jay on the spike. Very unfortunate, and I gotta bring it back to the compositions of these teams. I don't see Plymouth getting onto side with only an Omen. We talked about double smoke, double controller on this map. They only have an Omen and no Neon, no Phoenix to use their wall maybe as some sort of a helper. This is going to be a very difficult half.
Yeah, you're having to rely on the mechanical skills of the duelists here at this stage, aren't you? I mean, you might have a showstopper in a round or 2, depending on how the game's going, but yeah, it's not really the situation that you want to be in. Luna just tucked up in the corner here behind the poison orb. Able to get away from the utility here at this stage as well. Rotations already coming through here from the defending side. From Dublin, they're able to find one. Again, they're just relying on their aim at this stage. They don't really have the utility their waxes to try and get themselves on towards the site. So taking the aim.
One enemy remaining.
Rock from the, well, getting there just in time to prevent the flank happening. And now Capybara, who has been one of the great performers so far this series. I don't think even her can really recover this round, and we'll have to try and save
out of
something.
charges.
Get spotted. Yeah, maybe. Rock is not gonna allow that to happen. And like we said, Rock putting in the work this map. 17 kills on this breach and just making so much stuff happen. This is do or die. If Plymouth can't convert this round, we are gonna be going to split. I'm calling it right now.
I get the feeling you may be right there, Waxon.
Less talking, more doing. That's what we want to see from Plymouth right now. Can they make more happen? Keep in mind, they managed to win on We Missers map pick, and now they're losing 9-5 on their own map pick.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Indeed. And we see a rather split attack right here with Jay and Capybara holding in the push through Dish, through Arcade, as 3 players are making their way down A main, where Mita is about to have a field day with the tripwires.
Yeah, this might be a little bit of a meat grinder here, depending on the exact situation that arises. Mita just lying in wait, like a funnel web spider, waiting for those tripwires to come up into effect.
Rock spots 2, flashing himself out, gets with 1, and very patient, managed to go back, run, getting in, breaking the tripwire. Mita loses their life and goes with another. This is the gun advantage, so I wouldn't read too much into this round, but if We Miss her and get even 1 or 2 more kills, it would be devastating for me.
Interesting poison kill for Tata there, straight on towards Ghost. Didn't quite see exactly how that happened as the retake is
One enemy
now, but
remaining.
Luna with the double kill, Run with the third as well. Gets a much needed round on the board there for Plymouth, because this game was looking like it was starting to slip away from them here in this second half. It might still be doing so, like you mentioned, with the differences and the struggles in terms of the composition here, especially on this attacking side. However, they'll take that one. They'll take any round they can get.
It will be rifles all around, big shields. Again, no operator. Both teams staying away from the big gun. Maybe just too big of an investment considering how back and forth this game was. You don't want to invest almost 5,000 credits and then just lose it in the next round. Maybe a good choice, but I still think, considering we've seen Jet being played on both maps so far, I was expecting to see more of the big gun.
Camera taken out.
Spot out one.
Interesting diagonal tripwire right there. This time it might prove to be a bit of a problem as the cage comes in nicely. Run breaks the trip in Dish and gets pushed back by a lot of good utility. But look at Rock gets caught off guard. Mita getting on the side. You don't want to lose your life. Stop beating. You got the ultimate. It doesn't matter. Aaron gets one already in the side. Together. Running back gets invested. Paint shots going into Dish. Can Aaron make anything happen? No, they cannot. Capybara sends him back to the body. Run with the kill onto Rock, and this should be a save right here.
One
Rock had a
enemy
rolling
remaining.
thunder available. If there was a round no way it would be so useful, it would have been this one. The high attacking side was moved up towards that back side of the site. Attackers again getting ourselves another round on the board. Plymouth really making a fight of this one here in the second half, but I'm not sure if that breach knew that the rolling thunder was available.
Well, I think Breach knew. I don't know if Tata knew. I'm gonna put Tata on blast. Swinging in top sand right there when you have Breach and Phoenix ult to retake the side, not the correct choice. They were already 3v5. Aaron pressing the button, attempting to make something happen, but almost impossible when you have two-player disadvantage and it gets punished. And now they have no more Phoenix ult and they have no more money to play this round.
Struggle bus.
There.
Trying to spot.
Bomb buddy out.
The Sheriff. Falling off the angle, not taking the unnecessary fights. Conservative here, but that is one of those ones that feels like it's going to be a bit inevitable, especially with the double kill on entry there for Run. Erin hiding inside the side. Let's see if she can do anything, and well, the answer's going to be no, as Run gets the third kill in the round and a short flashback plan.
Last player standing.
Run with the force. Are we gonna get another ace? No, they're not. Tata puts an end to it. Run almost getting the second ace in 2 maps. And this is the battle of the initiators. We saw Run putting up great numbers on the Killjoy of Haven. Still up there. 22 kills on the Fatal Fracture. She is on a completely different level tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. No one has really stepped up to her level here at this moment in time. In amongst her own team, at least in terms of the frags, of course. There are so many more ways to be useful in Valorant than stacking up the kills, but
Of course.
it's the stat that gets you to the top of the leaderboard.
Very important round for both sides, as whoever wins this will hopefully manage to start stacking up some credits. Well, I say that, but Plymouth is already maxed out on 2 players as runs. Spots this gun, doesn't manage to get the kill, and Tata swings from heaven. 2 players row, but still player advantage for the defenders.
Maybe a little bit of overconfidence after that near ace there for Run. Going down early on in the round, so Plymouth will have to continue on without their star player in this map so far. Let's see how they negotiate this situation with being a player down. Spread all across the map at this stage. Looks like there's going to be collapse on towards the B site. However, the Cypher lurking. Let's see if they can get a cheeky little pick here on towards A and change the tide of the match. But Erin has the angle on lockdown, but not able to line up the frag.
Yeah, just trading a couple bullets each. Will be made aware of Jay's position. Jay throwing in a deep cage in sand and one close. And is this a fake? No, it's not a fake. And I think this is not the best call
left.
you could make if you're right now on the side of Plymouth. But look at the rotation. The defender's already falling back. This worked somehow. Site is essentially free. They can't see it. Only we can see the map, of course. But they can make their way into the side. Just throw some Omen smokes. It doesn't matter. Rolling Thunder coming in. And Rock throwing Jay up in the air. Mita still dying to Jay in that position. It's 5 seconds to go. Capybara panicking, but it doesn't matter. Lunar and Biska. 1 versus 1. 1 HP for both sides. And Showstopper. Is any one of the players going to use it?
This has had no right to be brought down into a 1v1. The Rolling Thunder tagged up all of those attacking players, but it's a Raze versus Raze here. No information going the way of Biska here. Let's see if she's able to try and clutch out this round. Caught on the Showstopper equip. Are you kidding me? Biska able to best Lunar in the 1v1.
Lunar, despite getting 3 kills to keep our team in this round. Just a bit overzealous, swinging the corner before the rocket got completely ready to shoot, and Biska, sweaty hands after that one.
Oh my words. That is absolutely crazy. There was a lot of utility, a lot of ultimates invested in that round, especially the Showstopper towards the end that wasn't even able to get the rocket launcher fully ready. Oh boy. That's going to be a hard one to take, even psychologically.
Yes, absolutely. Now, 5 players outside B will run into a Viper spit, which might just put an end to this attempt as we see Run picking up the ultimate orb and now in the position of the Nightfall yet again.
Spam through, not connecting yet. Look at this focus towards this B side of the map, but it looks like there's going to be a timing here once again.
Face your fear!
Really work with. Here comes the ultimate from that fade, tagging Paddlers to the site, but somehow is able to find at least 1 frag there, and that might just make the difference here when it comes to a post-plant situation. All even in terms of the numbers, Spike Plant still unavailable at this stage here. They're so paranoid of any peaks coming off the back of it.
A safe plant in the back corner of the side as we have Mita spotting Capybara, spamming with the Spectre, despite being a Spectre works, and Biska with the second, and it's only a 1 versus 3, but it's Jay, and it's all the operator, and we talked about how great she is with this gun. Spike right now, a nice attempt at a flick, but Jay cannot make it happen, and Mita ends the round 11-8 and picks up the operator the first time this match.
I just couldn't find the second shot required there for Jay, unfortunately. Otherwise, it would have been basically a 50-50 round from that point forwards, but not so clinical on the take there as far as Plymouth are concerned. At least as clinical as they would like. You can't really afford to be losing 1 player to the shotgun inside of the middle of the site like that.
I have to go back to the composition. I mean, I've mentioned it multiple times. We saw Jay put up a phenomenal performance on the Phoenix, on Haven, and now putting them onto the Cypher, your sole operator player. It's not working. Cypher is not as flashy as any of the duelists, and that's why we rarely see Sentinels operating with that gun.
Yeah, desperate times call for desperate measures, although it's not so desperate here at the moment for Tata close range.
Oh, a bit of a bounce when it comes to the molly.
Get it.
Lunar still gonna use the boombot to give away their position. It's Tata versus Lunar. Who's gonna take it, the Judge or the Vandal? And it is the Judge, gonna die yet again to a late painful explosion. And it's down to a 3 versus 3, but we have a showstopper. Can Biska clutch it once again?
That's coming out as well. A quick push in here from Aaron, trying to make an impact. The flash is good, but the angle's covered there by Capybara. Showstopper as well into
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Not there for Biska. It still wins the round out though because Rock is able to stabilize and get the spike defuse
My ult's
in.
ready. Change of
A
plans.
lot of damage coming out from that rocket launch.
I gotta
Match
say,
point.
I was questioning Aaron's solo push in the attempting to stop the spike plan, but it was so efficient because it forced the 3 attackers to stay on site, which enabled Biska to throw in great utility and essentially the aftershock plus the showstopper guaranteeing that retake of the site. And we're now looking at a 4-round deficit. 4 rounds that we need from Plymouth to win if they want to take this to overtime.
Otherwise, we head towards splits, as are the decider map here in this upper bracket game between Trinity Dublin and Plymouth. Plymouth, they were looking so good on Haven. Again, they're not their map pick, but it's instantly responded to by this great performance so far by Dublin on Fracture. We can talk about that comp all day long in the post-tro, but this is just the reality that the players are having to deal with here for this very moment. Having to win multiple rounds on the bounce here, Plymouth, to even just to bring it to an overtime. That's a big, big ask here in this situation. Not impossible by any means.
They will attempt a retake. And that is the correct call for We Miss Her. You have the Rolling Thunder. But as I say that, Mita's about to beat your opponent, and can they get any kill? No. Jay says, it doesn't matter, I'm a Cypher. I will just get in first and get the first one.
Still a very tense situation
Watch your
here.
eyes!
Spike planted.
4 versus 5 retake here. These are sorts of rounds that Dublin have been going for. A little bit of confusion with the drop there. Erin straight into the hands of Capybara.
Last player
Has
standing.
the awareness to take Biska out as well on the turn.
The economy is not great. So Tata in a 1v5 with a Judge, probably not going to convert this round. Just doing some chip damage, long distance to Capybara. No one's going to push Tata here. That would be a huge mistake. You don't want to give your life away to this Judge. And the economy here for We Miss Her is not great as a near side comes through. Lunar with the final kill. And we are looking at what I think should be an eco for We Miss Her.
Should be. Although, seeing the investment of Amita, well, she'll decide against that as the rest of the team decide to go for the SMGs. Couple of upgraded pistols here as well. That's all the investment they will take into this round. They have this buffer to be able to do it. They have a couple of map points to their name. However, it's a little bit closer than they were perhaps expecting.
Nice attempt for pushing through door with the breach, but look at the patience coming through. Ghost, is he gonna get shot? No, Ghost gets 1, Ghost gets 2, Ghost gets 3! And it's only Mita with the Sheriff gonna get put an end to it by Ghost. And what a great hold right here from Plymouth. They are showing us why they have defeated the champions from last season just in the quarterfinals. They are still in this despite the 4-round deficit. It's only down to 2 rounds, and if they somehow manage to convert this one, it's going to be very, very dangerous when it comes to round 24.
Very dangerous indeed, as Dublin are absolutely fully invested into this one. They simply had no other option but to get all those rifles out there with the full investment. And like you said, if they drop this round now, they're having to try and fight a round to prevent them to go to overtime with just the pistols on the board, as we'll see the flash through there from Erin with the running back enabled as well. They flashed up, but able to land the shots onto Erin's running back in response. So a little bit of a exploratory escapade there from the Phoenix as Plymouth decide to readjust towards that A side of the map, although they have a doubt in their mind as well.
33 HP on the Cypher, still alive. That can make so much impact here for the attacker, holding the flanks, using the camera for the post-ban situation maybe, but it's Tata. Gotta spot at least 3 opponents in main. Gotta swing on top of that after. No! What a mistake, and Capybara is ready to punish it. Reveal gets a few, but Run with a great position by drop.
Once again, Run trying to rack up the frags as he has been doing so on so many occasions so far this series. Trey's going either way. Viska from up above takes out Run. 2 versus 2 now.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
He's going to readjust, but can't do it. We'll have at least one more here in regulation.
It was the Cypher! The Cypher on 33 HP that escaped that running back with just one slither of their HP to clutch the round in a final 1 versus 1. And now the economy is disastrous. We miss her. They were so close to the victory, to bringing us to map 3. But now the dream seems to be slipping away from them.
This is crazy. We weren't really expecting Plymouth to be able to work this comeback here in the second half. It was a slight threat, of course, but a comeback all the same. Able to make this work. And now in this final round of regulation time, a scrappy force buy coming out from the Dublin players. Couple of SMGs, couple of Stingers. You got Bulldogs out there as well. Not really the investment that they were hoping for. Not really the situation they were expecting to be in, but it's their reality now as Tatler decides to try and push up, get a bit of information, but it's a free kill going to Run. That's exactly what needed. They try to accelerate the pressure now onto the B site.
The Neurotheft will get invested across the map. They're allowed to get some information, but look at Meta. Meta is essentially 2 HP. Run spots 1, Jay swings and gets the kill. It's a 4 versus 3, and I think we are heading to overtime unless Rock, Meta, and Erin have something to say about that.
A post-ban situation. Run tucked up in the corner, has been hitting shots all day. Erin straight into the crosshair of that fade. Response from Rock
player
towards
standing.
the back side. Capybara takes clearing out as well. Rock is in the 1 versus 3 to try and prevent this from going to overtime. The showstopper is out as well from up above. That's insult to injury as we go to overtime here.
The comeback
Overtime.
from Plymouth. Momentum. We talk about it so often. We talked about it multiple times this series, and this time it's completely in the favor of Plymouth. Getting 4 rounds back to back in order to secure this overtime. They must be feeling in cloud 9, and I don't know if We Miss Her has what it takes in order to hold this momentum.
Gotta reassess the situation. Take this time in this freeze time to be able to try and get your thoughts in order. This is where a good IGL really pays dividends here to try and calm the team down and try and get a game plan for this overtime.
Slow approach. We see the spike being left behind. No defender trying to get an aggressive peek. Everybody playing behind corners, playing alongside utility. It's only going to be Rock and Viska. Rock swings alone, gets spotted by Ghost. Now Ghost isolated on side. Great aftershock coming through, and it's going to be a duel. Rock swinging without a flash. Ghost punishing. What an uncharacteristic mistake from Rock on this map.
It was more of a mistiming on the flash than the non-existence of one, but a misplay all the same there on the attacking side. Backing away from this A side of the mountain has been no extreme aggression towards B, although Run tucked up inside the canteen side of it towards those B tunnels. Let's see what she can do from that position. Eyes laser focused on this main side now. Trying to play off that Omen inside the site. The path has been blocked so far and reinforcements have arrived.
Satchel on the side. Capybara swinging, Run with 1. Capybara with a second. It's now Tata and Mita in a 2 versus 4. Gets another one. And it's Tata. Can they make anything happen? No, they cannot. As Capybara gets their 3rd. And now we're looking not just map point,
Switching
match
sides.
point for Plymouth.
Match point.
This is absolutely crazy. 5 rounds on the bounce, making it 6 would be the entire match. Going the way of Plymouth here, which is unthinkable. as we headed on towards our second half with the map points that Dublin were able to secure. But that feels like an eternity ago now.
It does
They're
indeed.
just one round away from advancing in this upper bracket.
So close from the top 3 in this tournament. 1 round away. You fought so far to make the comeback happen, and this is the moment you're attacking on Fracture.
Bomb buddy out.
The utility here towards this B site. No one wants to make the mistake, do they? Whatsoever, but a gunfight towards the back of B is won by Meter, and what a time it would be to step up from that Cypher in their hour of need. Very, very quiet over the course of this map.
Poison orb emitting.
Attackers still very spread around the map.
Toxin screen down.
Just playing around to find what is the weaker bomb site, and it will be the correct choice going towards B, where we have Biska playing alone just with the help of the tripwires.
Biska has to come up huge here, or at least delay them just enough to get reinforcements, but it doesn't seem like she needs any help, especially with shots like that onto Luna.
30 seconds
Thinks about
left.
the flank situation as well, as the rest of the attackers have been stalled towards that B main side of things. Jay, I don't think she's going to know what hit her here, although she is able to spot out. Hits through the side of the
Spike
material
down,
as well.
B.
Capybara with 1.
Oh, a couple of whiff shots! Oh! The tripwire doesn't
10
even get
seconds
broken,
left.
it just explodes, but the wallbang coming through 7 seconds.
Spike
Aftershock,
planted.
Jay gets
One
the kill.
enemy
Aftershock
remaining.
with another, and it's 2 versus 2. But Rock
I know
has 2
exactly
flashes.
where
Eurostep gets invested. Flash coming through. Jay is completely blind. Gotta wait for another second reveal. The spike just gets stabbed. It's a fake. Jay swing. They can, but it doesn't do anything. And are you not entertained? 13-13 as we keep going.
We keep going, and it all came down to that initial pick, I feel. From
Switching
Mita,
sides.
who, like I said,
Overtime.
so quiet on that Cypher throughout this entire map, but that one situation where she really needed to get the pick to gain the advantage, she's able to deliver and give her team a lifeline here in overtime.
5 rounds. It was 5 rounds in a row from Plymouth. Finally getting halted by We Miss Her, and on the back of Rock, again gathering up a couple of kills. Just behind Run in 2 kills. The 2 initiators are still putting in so much work on Fracture.
Everything reset now, of course. Dublin back on the attacking side where they pretty potent so far, but it's the same side where they lost so many rounds in a row towards the end. Look at the utility all coming through at this stage to try and crack open this B bomb site, B spike site, excuse me. I'm Counter-Strike mode again, apparently. But backing away now are the attacking side, and, well, Dublin change of plan, but there's been a couple of push-ups towards that A side.
Not the most successful attempt right there from Dublin. That didn't manage to bait that much utility, and they invested a lot to only clear a smoke. We can see Jay with a great position, spots the opponent and just disengages. You don't want to give away your life when you're playing the Cypher.
Oh, another change of decision as well coming out here for Dublin. They want to go back towards that B side.
40 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, they don't really have a lot of time to try and be able to make this one out. If there's any sort of delaying action whatsoever, then they might decide themselves inside a tricky spot. The paranoid is tagging all of them. Yes, it does. But Biska's able to recover at least one there.
Erin with the second. But finally, Ghost takes it out. Biska and the Viper is out of the server. No more smoke from them. As we say that, Erin doesn't need a smoke, just needs headshots. 12 seconds. Gonna try to get her healed off with 10 seconds to go. Run.
10 seconds left.
To Mita. Jay in the open, jumping in to kill Erin, and it's yet another map point for Plymouth.
Switching sides. Match point.
Map point, but match point as well. Another attempt, another chance of getting this one in the bag, but they need to try and convert here on this attacking side. They need to draw on what they were able to do inside that second half.
Yes.
But denied so far from Dublin.
Ooh, very, very close matchup in this Fracture. Still, 10 rifles on the server. Look at Erin. Erin flashing herself out. Gets 5, gets a Swan Ice skill. Good flash. Only a single kill, but spotting the spike, and it's 4. It's the pistol tactic! They're going all the way base, but this guy's aware. Spots 2 opponents. That means the blue one. Are they gonna throw the facials? No, just gonna disengage and play together alongside Cypher.
No proactive response yet, just yet from the defending side. Blast back in towards the side from Luna, but he's going to try and respond.
Last player standing.
But there's the response
Spike
from
down,
Jay.
B.
I know exactly where
It
you
changes
are.
absolutely everything.
And it's gonna be Rock. Truly the Rock of this team on Fracture in a 1 versus 2. Full utility Ghost playing it off
Spike
angle.
planted.
Is Rock going to check? Yes, they are. Headshot, but it's a Phantom. It's not enough. And
Attackers
it's the
win.
victory. 2-0 for the Plymouth Quackers that now go to the winner bracket grand finals.
Boy, I was not expecting it to be that close. It looked like an open and shut case there towards, the middle of the second half. We were looking already ahead about 3 splits, but Plymouth, they found something inside themselves to try and come back from that one. So many rounds on the bounce to take it to overtime. Second time of asking in terms of the match points to be able to get it across the line as well. Words are hard.
It's a championship winning team. You can tell that when you're down 8-12 and you could just lay back, think about, oh, it's fine, we'll take split. No, that's when they turn it on. They realized this is our map pick and we're going to show why we chose to play Fracture. Despite maybe our questionable composition, we're going to make it work, and they did in such a great fashion. Despite turning it up, we still saw we miss her trying to bring it back, winning that 1 overtime round that made us believe what entertaining series we had the pleasure of casting.
Absolutely. Well, that was a very, very intriguing one to watch. Let me just say that. So, of course, both of these teams, we've got Plymouth going through the upper bracket. We may indeed see Dublin Trinity again at some point in the lower bracket, as they will have to run the gauntlet down there, so that they're not out of this competition just yet. They just have a little bit of a harder route to try and get through in this situation, in this championship. But yeah, that was a really, really fun one to watch. Of course, Dublin, they're not necessarily playing a full strength in terms of their roster here today, which would have definitely affected things. And I do have a lot of empathy for that. But that doesn't take away from the way that Plymouth played here. Not just in terms of the technical skill, but the mentality to keep themselves in it. Like you mentioned, that you could have just been so guilty in that map on Fracture to be thinking, okay, well, we've lost this one, and what can we do on Split? But that's not the attitude that they took. They were like, okay, we're going to take this to overtime. We're going to try and win this one. And they did, and I don't think that Dublin were necessarily expecting that. Maybe they got a little bit complacent towards the end there of that second half and dropped a couple of unnecessary rounds. And unfortunately, this is what happens when you get in that situation sometimes.
It was an exceptional series of Valorant. Both on Haven, that maybe was plagued by more mistakes from both sides, but Fracture was just a masterclass from all the 10 players filling in their roles amazingly. Again, I would maybe argue against the composition, but does it matter? They won.
They got the dub, okay? Like, you can't really judge when when it actually gets you the win. Of course, you can theory craft it, afterwards, and see it as a little bit of a Hail Mary attempt. But in the end, the results speak for themselves. Just like I don't know, I was gonna drop a chess reference there.
I mean, if it works, it ain't broken, right? Is that what they say? If it ain't broken, don't fix it. I don't know, but it definitely worked. 14-12, 14-13. What is it? 15-13. Outstanding comeback. And after more than 40 rounds of play across 2 maps, I have to ask you, Raptros, who is your most valuable player of that series?
I gotta say, each of the players, especially on that Plymouth side, at some point stepped up here today. But I gotta say, in terms of the consistency of being able to find kills out there, find multi-frags, it's got to be Run, right? It's got to be Run. It's just such a solid player out there and a real good asset for Plymouth to have, especially in championships like this, where you absolutely need that consistency on a week-to-week basis. But it wasn't just her that really stepped up. We had Ghost finding some very good picks. We had Capybara just finding blinds with the Omen out of nowhere. Luna having a couple of incredible moments. Jay as well. I'm not going to miss anyone out here unless I get passive aggressive acts on Twitter. But yeah, it's everyone stepped up here today, and it's like you said, it's was a championship winning performance, at least a championship winning mentality. Whether or not they have the capability to go all the way is still a big question mark. But I'm optimistic.
Let's quickly take a look at the updated bracket with our first winner bracket grand finalists. And yes, indeed, it's none other than the Plymouth Quackers going to face Grocery Store after a 2-0 victory versus Team Juice.
Absolutely. So that's that's a little intriguing situation there. Again, both matches 2-0s here. So the one that we watched didn't feel like a 2-0 really today because it was so close across both maps. But yeah, Grocery Store Pro Cokers are going to be in that upper bracket final here. That's going to be one to watch.
I'll be completely honest. I think if We Miss Her has the time in between the next few weeks to put in a bit of more extra work and practice, if they can keep up the same level we saw for the first 20 rounds of Fracture, they could bring it back all the way from the lower bracket, and we can see them joining Grocery Store and Plymouth Quokkas in the top 3. That's what I think. Are they going to? We don't know exactly what the level of Team Juice is, OnlyFans, Sherry, and UCL Unicorns, but from what they displayed in their high moments, they have what it takes if they can generate that consistency.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they will. The Dublin will see this as a little bit of a blip in their performance. I don't think we really saw all what they're capable of here today, especially with their performances or taking into account the performances from earlier on in the bracket. So I think they are going to be one of the teams that's going to be a force to be reckoned with in that lower bracket. But the only problem is you have Yashante back down there as well, our previous champions. So it's a stacked lower bracket.
Yeah, stacked lower bracket indeed. But if so often we see in tournaments teams falling to the lower bracket early on and getting those extra games in and allowing them to grow as a team in a tournament format. By the time they get to the top 3, to the top 6, they are a completely revamped team with completely new strats, and it's just a completely different level than the last time we saw them in the upper brackets. Time will tell. Time will tell if Shada was going to do that or if We Miss Her has the opportunity to bounce back. But for everybody at home, stay tuned because just in a couple moments, we will be joined by one of our winners from today.
Yep, indeed we will. And it's going to be great to get a player's insight to how this game has been played because, of course, we can only say so much as casters, trying to look at the big picture in terms of what the game, how the game is going. But to hear it directly from the players would be a very good insight. So I certainly can't wait to be able to hear from them. But yeah, this I would have personally liked to see splits as a third map just to see just to get more rounds between these two teams, to be honest, because that was a very enjoyable game to watch. But I think the players are kind of glad that it's done a little bit early because that was pretty intense at times.
Do you think if the 12-8 scoreline would have been converted into a 13-8, do you think we would have seen We Miss Her convert and win split? I mean, there's a lot of ifs in that question, but I'm just asking.
I don't see any reason why not. But like you said, there's so many variables to take into account there that it's absolutely impossible to say with any form of certainty. I think they needed at least some form of result out there to be able to inspire some form of confidence. A map win would have definitely done that. But unfortunately, it was a complacency towards the end of Fracture that really was one of the final nails in the coffin for them. They just needed to convert that just one more round. But sometimes, Waxon, you're very aware of it, that sometimes that round is the hardest one to get.
Yeah, getting over that hurdle. They did in the end, but when they were down 13-12 and it was a bit too late to convert that into a victory. And we are now gonna give a huge shout out to our sponsors for today. This wouldn't be possible, obviously, without Prime Video, Prime Student, and Omen. Thank you all for making it possible. And what a great series. What a great showcase for women and non-binary Valorant we had to begin off this stream in 2023 for the spring season.
Yeah, a fantastic entertainment here in this championship, and it just goes to show the caliber of talent, the caliber of players that we have here in this particular scene. That we get this at a sort of early stage upper bracket situation. I'll be very interested to see how that lower bracket works out with many of the strong teams that are down there. So you definitely want to keep tuning into these every single week, because you never know what could happen. There seems to be spoilers and upsets left, right, and center that are going to be very entertaining for us to tune in on.
Well, talking about next week, I don't want to send you away just yet, because like we said, we still have a surprise for all of you at home, but the surprise will come in just 3 minutes after a short break. And we are back at the Amazon University Esports UK and Ireland Women and Non-Binary with our first upper bracket grand finalist. It's Luna from Plymouth. Congratulations
Hi.
on your victory.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great seeing, your team's entire performance throughout this series. Just take me through that first map of Haven, because of course you were kind of a little bit up against it, considering it wasn't your map pick. So just take me through that particular map and what the philosophy was from the team going into that, and were you surprised that you were so good on that?
Yeah, I mean, Haven is a map that we actually avoid as a team, so
Well.
it was a little bit nerve-wracking. So we sort of went into it with an open mind. It's not our pick. We'll do the best that we can. All good. We have a really great team mentality. We're just here for the vibes purely. So we were just out here getting picks, just keeping the vibes up, and we won it, which is amazing. They put up a great fight. It was kind of terrifying, but yeah, just keep the vibes up, get the kills, won the rounds.
I love a team based on vibes, Waxon.
Absolutely.
That's a lovely place to be.
I mean, it does, but considering, vibes have carried you so far, I have to ask, now that you are one victory away from the grand finals, is that going to change? Are you going to utilize the vibes to add something to your team in order to qualify for the grand finals?
I mean, it's brought us this far. I feel like it would be wrong to abandon her. Do you know what I mean? We just sort of go into it with a vague idea. We'll IGL sort of as each round comes. But as long as the vibes remain high and the mental is great, I feel like that really carries you quite far. So I don't see us dropping the vibes. Honestly, I don't think we could, which is vibing generally. I don't think we physically can.
Yeah. I think, Raptors, yes, please.
Yeah, I guess adding to those positive vibes, that seems to be the theme here today. Of course, you tend to have a couple of important people at home watching as well, don't you?
Oh my gosh, yes. So my mum, my brother, and my stepdad have all pulled up every single time I've said I had a match. And they've been here watching the whole time. Mum was at work. She's going to watch the VOD. My stepdad's currently watching, I think. Hi, John. And we all have messaged our families, because I said I've messaged my mum, guys, because I'm feeling nervous. Elle sent the link out to her family and her sister and her mum, and we've all just got family coming in and watching, which raises the vibe. So clearly that's helping.
It's a whole family contribution. But speaking of the VODs, when you will go back and rewatch the match, you might hear us talk a bit about your fracture composition, which was your map pick, and in the end you managed to win it and go 2-0 to qualify. But I gotta ask, why did you decide to A, swap the roles of some players on fractures, and B, why that particular comp?
So we tend to sort of just bounce around. So we'll soft lock and sort of say who wants to play what. Georgia is amazing on Omen, so she is just our insta-lock Omen player. Liv and I tend to gravitate towards duelists. I like Raze. She likes playing Jet. Elle can play anything. She's incredible. She'll sort of just pick and fill. And Jay as well. On any of the teams that we play on, we tend to sort of just pick and choose. Again, the vibes were there. And we just communicate what we feel like playing. So that first game I wasn't playing duelist. I hadn't had time to warm up, so I was like, I'll just sit back a little bit. I'll play Fade, throw some eyes into the middle of nowhere. And just sort of, we just pick and choose. So it seems quite random, but they're all people that we have played consistently throughout the game. So we just sort of see the map, see what the vibes are, go from there.
Absolutely. And of course, heading into further in this upper bracket, potentially, I know it's too soon to speak a little bit, but potentially into a grand final as well. Will the plan start to become a little bit more structured as things start to get a little bit more serious as you go deeper into this competition, or is that sort of flexible nature that your team have going to be a prevalent theme, which might make you a little bit hard to prepare against?
Yeah, I think so. We tend to sort of just check in with each other on match days and see how we go from there. Obviously, with different maps being picked, especially with Haven, which was a real curveball for us, we'd never put a comp together for that sort of on the fly. So we sort of just said, okay, who wants to do what? How are we feeling? And I feel like that's a great way to play, because sometimes, I love playing Rose, but if my aim is bad and I'm not entering properly, I'm doing nothing for my team. I'm not double satchelating. I'm double satchelating into the air. I feel like that's a really great way to go.
I'm going to take that as a personal attack because I feel like that 99% of the time. Not sure about you, Waxon, on that one, but that's what I feel like.
I'm a pretty mean race myself, but again, thank you so much for giving us your time and putting on such an outstanding performance today on stream for everybody at home. And obviously, before we let you go, do you have any final shout outs or words you'd like to share with the stream?
Oh my, well, shout out Misty. My wife is in the chat right now. Everyone in the Plymouth Esports Society that's been watching in little groups, love you guys. All the parents that pulled up, we love you. We just have so many amazing people backing us as a team, and it's been such an amazing experience. I feel like in a very male-dominated sort of culture, having a women's and non-binary little niche is an amazing thing, and we always have a great time playing. So thank you so much for having us. Thank you for everyone in the production. It's been so much fun. Thank you for everybody that pulled up, everyone that was voting for us. It was amazing. And there's a lot of prediction polls. Love you guys, and thank you guys so much for casting us so lovely. It was a really great time. Thank you.
No, again, thank you so much. Congratulations to both you and your team. And hopefully we'll get the chance to see you more on stream in the future. And who knows, maybe even the grand finals.
Oh God, thank you so much. Fingers crossed.
Well, Raptros, such a wholesome interview. My heart is melted right now. I don't know what to say. I feel like if I was cheering for them before we had Luna, now I want to see them in the grand finals.
Honestly, like establishing themselves as a fan favorite potentially, especially interviews like that go a long way. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how they continue on in this upper bracket. If they do indeed continue on in the upper bracket, of course, there's always a possibility they'll have to drop down, but yeah, you can't really complain about that. You can't have anything bad to say when you've done an interview like that.
I mean, one of my big takeaways, I suppose, from what she said, despite the plenty vibes that they have had, the views they carried the team so far, there was a self-awareness there that a lot of the teams, even at tier 2 level, lack. That self-awareness of knowing, you know what, first map, I wasn't feeling it. I didn't warm up. I'm not going to play the race. I'm going to step back and throw the eyes into the sky. So that self-awareness, that's something very important that definitely this team has plenty of, to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are and when they happen and how to fill in those gaps. And the fact that she said they are so versatile, they can play different comps, different ages, they can swap. We saw that between Haven and Fracture, is something that might be the X factor for Plymouth.
Yeah, there we go. We're getting yet more contributions there. I mean, I'm not complaining because it's absolutely lovely to have you on the broadcast. But yeah, like I said, as I regain my train of thought, like I said though, that fluid nature, that sort of that adaptability is really going to hold them in good stead later on in the competition. Because, like I said, there might be teams that will go back in this particular broadcast, go to have a look at the VOD and just like, okay, what can we do to prepare? But you can't really prepare because it's not necessarily the way they're going to play next time out.
For the people at home that can't still hear Luna, because I think her camera and mic might be off.
I don't know what's going on.
She just shared with us right now that they had a look into what the opponents are playing, and they're really into Haven, which obviously, as she's already shared with us, they are not. So it will be interesting to see how the rest of the season will evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be incredible to see, and of course, we'll get to see some of the other protagonists in this championship as well. A couple other teams working their way through, particularly that lower bracket as well, to be able to book themselves a slot in the grand final, which is where everyone wants to get to. And it's going to come up on us rather soon. These things tend to happen pretty quickly. Time flies when you're having fun, of course.
Yeah, that's where the dreams are made. That's when the champions are made. And one more final thing that I would like to say from I think Luna's closing words: having this women and non-binary tournament is such a great showcase of the outstanding and exceptional skill we have in this scene. And today was a great prime example of that.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and it comes down to that championship winning mindset, which definitely Plymouth showed here. It's definitely the unorthodox. It's probably fair to say, but you can't really complain when it works, right? And you're able to get those wins onto the boards, and 2-0s in the upper bracket so far, coming into that upper bracket grand final. They're looking very, very strong indeed. But the worry does become when they go up against slightly more structured teams, which might just rattle them just a little bit here, and how they deal with that will be a very interesting point to consider. But if games just go like they did today, then the sky's the limit.
Well, time will tell, Raptros, as we are nearing the end of our stream today. So I'm going to hand the mic to you and ask if you have any final words or shout-outs you'd like to make.
Well, I just gotta say it's an absolute privilege to be on these broadcasts, to get back into casting Valorant, which I've been away from quite some time. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and it's great that we have these sorts of competitions to be able to highlight some of the marginalized populations in not only in gaming but Valorant in specifically as well. And it's a fantastic initiative that we definitely need more of. And you can see the talent is there. It absolutely is there, and they deserve as big of a stage as everyone else.
So thank you so much, Raptros. It was my pleasure to be here alongside you today. Obviously, I think it's our first time ever on cast. Hopefully, this is just the beginning of many more. And like you said, a huge honor to be here. Huge shout out to everybody behind the scenes today. Lou, Jasmine as well for making it happen. Twillen, Becca, absolutely outstanding. And of course, to both teams, the 10 players that put on a show for us today. We cannot forget about our amazing sponsors, Prime Video, Prime Student, and Omen for helping us to make all of this possible. As what can you expect from more NEU content? Well, tomorrow at 7 p.m. or maybe 8 p.m., you can tune in for some Rainbow Six, and on Friday, a women and non-binary League of Legends. So there's still plenty of content to come, and we will return next week with more action from the Amazon University Esports UK and Ireland 2023 spring season. That was us today, signing off. Until next time.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London, saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Transcend humanity with Omen.